Chapter 2346. Miss Luo, how many of you came here? How did you all come here? Qin Yun saw that Luo Yaofeng was not wary of him, and promptly asked. Originally, it was not convenient to ask about this matter because it was a great secret to the Nine Heavens God clan. It's that great formation, a great formation formed by many sword mountains. Luo Yaofeng pointed in a direction. Although they could not see outside from the hall, the direction she pointed in was the Sword Forest Mountain Peak. This was the same as Qin Yun's previous guess. The Sword Forest Mountain Peak was actually transformed into a transmission array. The Sword Forest Mountain Peak only appeared after the formation of the Heavens Divine Desolate and was later occupied by the Divine Sword Clan. In other words, Luo Yaofeng came here not long after the formation of the Heavens Divine Desolate. And before that, there was another passage from the Nine Heavens to the Divine World. For example, those powerful clans came from the Nine Heavens many years ago. The Nine Heavens God clan inside the ancestral God Sun has also been here for a long time. Qin Yun now understands why the Divine Sword Clan, Primal Chaos Race and Divine Star Clan are so close to Elder Zhao and the others. It turns out that they have been working together since a long time ago. We all came here from the Nine Heavens. Why are you the only one who is not used to it? Qin Yun asked. At this moment, he also poured enough Empyrean divine power into Luo Yaofeng's body. Luo Yaofeng shook her head. I don't know either. Only a few people have this kind of situation. The others are already dead. Only I can hold on until now. If we return to the Nine Heavens, we can recover, but we don't want to go back. Why don't you want to go back? Qin Yun never expected that there would be people who would rather die than return to the mysterious Nine Heavens. Because if we go back, it's very likely that we will suffer a fate worse than death. Luo Yaofeng lightly sighed, some fear appearing in her eyes. The mysterious Nine Heavens is far more terrifying than Qin Yun imagined. Previously, after obtaining the memories of the Three-Eyed King, Qin Yun roughly understood. Seeing Luo Yaofeng so afraid of the Nine Heavens, Qin Yun became even more worried. If many people came from the Nine Heavens, the Heavens Divine Desolate might become like that. Brother A Yun, thank you for helping me after coming to this divine world. This is the first time I feel so energetic. Luo Yaofeng looked at Qin Yun gratefully and smiled sweetly. You're welcome. How about this, you follow me for a while, I'll figure out the situation in your body and then help you completely solve this strange disease. Qin Yun said. He felt that Luo Yaofeng wasn't a simple person. By being with her, he could learn more about the Nine Heavens through her. Can I really follow you? Luo Yaofeng smiled happily. That's great. I thought I could only stay awake for a while. Brother Yun, I'm really grateful to you. Qin Yun was overjoyed to see Luo Yaofeng. He enjoyed the process of helping others. Luo Yaofeng's beautiful face was no longer pale and haggard. Instead, there was only happiness and a smile. She was now in a very good mood and hurried into the room. She changed into a red dress, which made her look even more lively and gorgeous. Qin Yun looked at Luo Yaofeng and sensed a very strange feeling from her. He couldn't tell what kind of feeling it was, but it also gave her a different kind of temperament and charm. Luo Yaofeng is gentle and dignified. She has a pure heart, but she also has the innocence and liveliness of a young girl. Especially her current appearance, she is so happy that she is like a child, almost jumping up and down. Brother Yun, I want to go out for a walk. I haven't taken a good look around since I came to the divine world. Luo Yaofeng smiled and pulled Qin Yun's hand, wanting to pull him out. Then what about your Imperial Wind Pavilion? Qin Yun said with smile. No, with Big Brother A Yun's help, I don't need to find that annoying Sun Divine Crystal anymore. Luo Yaofeng smiled sweetly. Big Brother A Yun, you won't find me annoying, right? I won't. Qin Yun gently smiled and said, Let's go. Just as they were about to leave, Qin Yun sensed that there are many people outside the door. Bang! Someone kicked open the door with great force. The two middle-aged men guarding the door were beaten black and blue. They were seriously injured and were kicked in with great force. The person who came in is Dai Jingji, who left in anger earlier. She brought in 2 men and 1 woman. They all have overbearing appearance. Their faces are filled with ferocity and insolence. Dai Jingji, what are you doing? Luo Yaofeng's face that was filled with sweet smile suddenly turned frosty. Her beautiful eyes are filled with murderous intent. She looked at Dai Jingji. She was originally holding Qin Yun's hand, but because she was very angry, she used quite a bit of strength to hold Qin Yun's hand, causing Qin Yun to feel some pain. Qin Yun did not blame Luo Yaofeng, instead he is very shocked. He cultivated heavenly body, but he was actually hurt by Luo Yaofeng's grip. Luo Yaofeng also realized that she was unable to control her emotions. Her beautiful eyes that are filled with murderous intent immediately became filled with shame as she looked at Qin Yun. Dai Jingji is about to explode because she saw Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng holding hands. Luo Yaofeng, you. What is your relationship with this guy? Dai Jingji shouted in exasperation. He is my friend, Luo Yaofeng coldly said. Qin Yun promptly helped the 2 injured middle-aged men up and let them sit on chairs. Then he began treating their injuries. Luo Yaofeng is very kind in her heart, she is also very protective of her own people. Seeing her subordinates being injured, she is naturally very angry. Princess, how can you fall in love with a fool in this kind of lowly divine world? A man angrily said. Then he furiously glared at Qin Yun and took out his divine saber, looking like he wants to kill Qin Yun. Qin Yun, who is currently treating the 2 injured middle-aged men, is secretly shocked when he found out that Luo Yaofeng is a princess. Earlier, he learned from Dai Jingji and Luo Yaofeng's conversation that Luo Yaofeng's identity is not simple. I can find whoever I want, what does it have to do with you? A short sword appeared in Luo Yaofeng's hand. Following that, a very strong ruthless aura surged out. She said in a deep voice, if you don't want to force me to kill, then quickly scram. Dai Jingji looked at Qin Yun, gnashed her teeth and said, you wretched lowly man, you better stay away from Luo Yaofeng. Otherwise, even if we don't kill you, there will be many people who will. Let's go. A man coldly groaned and said, go? Qin Yun suddenly shouted and said with sneer, you injured these 2 big brothers and you want to leave just like that? You still want us to stay? Dai Jingji ridiculed. Qin Yun raised his hand and shot a small black saber at Dai Jingji. Dai Jingji furiously roared. A purple energy shield appeared on her body and blocked Qin Yun's small black saber. Qin Yun is secretly shocked. He did not expect Dai Jingji to be able to block his attack. There are 4 people on Dai Jingji's side, 1 woman and 2 men. At this moment, all of them have entered battle mode. Extremely strong divine power aura surged out of their bodies. 4 divine power surged out and surged towards Qin Yun, accompanied by extremely strong mental power. They want to use their divine power and mental power to attack Qin Yun. Luo Yaofeng took a step forward and arrived in front of Qin Yun. Her red skirt fluttered and blue energy surged out. Along with the whistling sound of wind, she charged towards the 4 divine power. In just an instant, the 4 divine power released by Dai Jingji and the others dissipated like smoke in thin air. There was not even the slightest ripple. It can be seen that Luo Yaofeng's divine power is very strange. It can directly dissipate Dai Jingji and the others' divine power. You recovered? Dai Jingji retreated a few steps in shock. Just now, she discovered that Luo Yaofeng's complexion is not bad. She was also puzzled, but she did not take it to heart. But now that she saw Luo Yaofeng make a move, she knows that Luo Yaofeng has completely recovered. She suddenly realized that Qin Yun must have helped her recover. It was Brother A Yun who helped me recover. Luo Yaofeng coldly said, you beat up my people and want to kill Brother A Yun, then I won't be polite. Just as she finished speaking, Dai Jingji and the others took out a talisman. They activated the talisman in their hands, and immediately a very strong spatial wave rushed out. Luo Yaofeng hastily released her divine power to block the advancing spatial wave to prevent Qin Yun and the two middle-aged men from being injured. After the spatial wave disappeared, Dai Jingji and the others also ran away. It can be seen that they are afraid of being killed by Luo Yaofeng. Qin Yun thought that Luo Yaofeng is a gentle and naive girl, but now that he thought about it, a person who can survive in the 9 heavens is definitely not simple. Maybe Luo Yaofeng is gentle and naive, but in the cruel environment of the 9 heavens, she had no choice but to hide her gentle and naive side in order to survive. The two middle-aged men are more or less cured by Qin Yun. Luo Yaofeng also told the two middle-aged men that from today onwards, the Imperial Wind Pavilion will be completely disbanded. After arranging everything, Luo Yaofeng and Qin Yun left the Imperial Wind Pavilion. She has a large carriage, it is floating in the air, and slowly flying on the streets of the small city. Brother Ayun, was I too scary just now? Luo Yaofeng sat beside the window. Her lily-white hand supported her cheeks as she looked at the scenery outside the window. She asked in a soft voice, "If you don't scare people, they will eat you." Qin Yun feels that this is very normal. These words touched Luo Yaofeng, her delicate body trembled as she muttered, "Eating people, in the 9 heavens, people eat people and it is a very normal thing. Is there such a thing as eating people in the divine world?" Luo Yaofeng is not familiar with the divine desolate land. Yes, this kind of people are called evil devils. Even if they become very strong, there will be a day when they will be punished by the heavens. Qin Yun said, "There are also many such people, but everyone will join hands to kill them. Brother Ayun, people who come from the 9 heavens won't be punished by the heavens if they eat people here." Luo Yaofeng let out a long sigh and said, "This is what Dai Jingji told me." "Has she eaten before?" Qin Yun calmly asked. "I asked her, she said no, but I don't believe her. Because in the 9 heavens, she ate before." Luo Yaofeng said. "Then have you eaten before?" Qin Yun asked again. Chapter 2347. Brother Ayun, those people are too strong. You won't be able to punish them. Luo Yaofeng shook his head. "It's best if you avoid them." Qin Yun can still see the gigantic sword mountains not far away from the small city. Every sword mountain is extremely tall, it's hard not to see them. Especially now, under the illumination of the myriad realms' divine sun, the sword mountain flickered with a golden radiance. Even at night, it released a strong afterglow. Qin Yun had previously attempted to break through the barrier outside the array. It was very difficult, unless he used a lot of power, but even so, it would still take a very long time and a very big commotion. And at that time, it would definitely alarm a lot of people. For example, Dai Jingji and the others from before, their strength was not weak. When he was in the Imperial Wind Pavilion, Qin Yun originally wanted to fight with them to see how strong they were, but they ran too fast. Qin Yun felt that inside the Sword Forest Desert, there were not only people from the Divine Sword Race, Divine Star Race and Primal Chaos Race, there might even be another group of people from the 9 Heavens Divine Race. That group of people from the 9 Heavens Divine Race is most likely from Elder Zhao's faction. Elder Zhao was able to suppress Jiang Jiuquan previously and obtained a lot of authority. He was able to control the myriad realms' divine sun and create the heavenly universe divine Sunday. It could be seen that Elder Zhao's faction was very strong and could even suppress the 9 heavens demon emperor. Only now did Qin Yun realize that the interior of the gigantic sword formation was not simple. The people from the Divine Sword Race had previously said that they would be able to produce a very strong race emperor very quickly. From this, it could be seen that this was not the case. Thinking of this, Qin Yun began to suspect that the new race emperor of the Divine Sword Race might very well come from the 9 heavens. Jiang Jiuquan led the other strong races and made them join the 9 heavens divine race and listen to his orders. As for the sect behind Elder Zhao, although their vitality was greatly injured, they still had the backing of the divine sword race's great formation. They could still fight. The Nine Heavens divine race behind Elder Zhao is also gathering resources. They let the primal chaos race move the primal chaos divine sun over, and then let the divine star race bring their clan's stars over. Furthermore, this group of people can even call for help from the Nine Heavens. The more Qin Yun thought about it, the more he felt that the situation was serious, because there was a group of Nine Heavens divine race people secretly storing up power. Once they were ready, they would definitely make a large-scale operation. Just as Luo Yaofeng was worried, there might be a large number of people from the Nine Heavens divine race invading the God Wasteland. Miss Luo, how can we enter inside? Qin Yun sat next to the window of the carriage, looked at the Sword Mountains, and asked. Luo Yaofeng came out from there, she might have a way. Big brother Yun, are you going in? Luo Yaofeng frowned slightly. When she was with Qin Yun, she looked gentle and innocent, but she came from the Nine Heavens after all. She knew that Qin Yun was no ordinary person. My enemies are inside, I want to go in and exterminate them, Qin Yun said. Are you really not afraid of them? Luo Yaofeng knew that Qin Yun was very strong, but she was worried about him. Don't worry. Qin Yun faintly smiled. If I knew that Dai Jingji and the others had that kind of talisman, I would have guarded against them in advance, and wouldn't have let them run away. Luo Yaofeng's beautiful eyes flickered. Looking at the 100,000 Sword Mountain, she said, Dai Jingji and the rest are inside the Great Formation. She told me before that there are quite a few people coming from the Nine Heavens. She told me the names of those people, and from the looks of it, they are all disciples of some prominent powers. Qin Yun finally understood Luo Yaofeng's worries. A group of young masters from large powers had come. Do they all eat people? Qin Yun asked. And that's why I'm very worried. Luo Yaofeng nodded and sighed. Dai Jingji also said that they have a way to cure my illness, but I have to agree to their conditions. What conditions? Qin Yun felt that it was impossible for Luo Yaofeng to marry someone or something like that. Because Luo Yaofeng was talking about them, she was a woman, it was impossible for her to marry so many people. Marry them? Luo Yaofeng said. I can't agree to them, they are not worthy of me. This caused Qin Yun's eyes to widen. After the shock, he hurriedly said, Wait, marry who? Marry them? Qin Yun never expected that the Nine Heavens would have such a custom. It's to marry them and give birth to their children. Then, they will take away the children. The children with good talent will be nurtured by them. If their talent is poor, they will be eaten by them. Luo Yaofeng spoke very calmly. It can be seen that she is not surprised by this kind of thing. As for Qin Yun's heart, he has suffered a great blow. He finally understood why people who understood the Nine Heavens said that the Nine Heavens was hell. No wonder some people would not return to the Nine Heavens even if they died. That kind of place was simply an evil place that distorted human nature. This kind of thing is very normal in the Nine Heavens. They only look at bloodline. I have a good bloodline and can give birth to a very good baby, Luo Yaofeng said. God Desolate is so big, this kind of deranged thing does happen, but it's definitely not a lot. Furthermore, it's not a normal thing. Qin Yun shook his head and said, What kind of place is the Nine Heavens? In the Nine Heavens, in order to pursue power, one can do anything. No matter what method one uses, as long as one can become stronger, it is normal and reasonable. After possessing great power, one can do whatever they want. No matter what they do, no one will punish them. Luo Yaofeng kept looking out the window. She felt that everything in the God Desolate was beautiful. But you are different from them. In the Nine Heavens there should be a lot of people who have some humanity, Qin Yun said. If you don't have enough strength, you will just be food, waiting to be slaughtered and eaten. Luo Yaofeng said, It's because I have a good background that I was able to survive. Luo Yaofeng is a princess and she is so powerful. This means that her parents are definitely not weak. Dai Jingji and the others must be eating people. Those fellows want to kill me, so I can't let them go. I want to enter that great formation, Qin Yun said. Brother Yun, if you want to go in, you have to listen to my arrangements. Luo Yaofeng smiled mischievously. I'm willing to bring you in and guarantee your safety. All right, I'll listen to you. Qin Yun nodded. Luo Yaofeng immediately controlled her carriage and flew out of the small city towards the 100,000 Sword Mountain. The 100,000 Sword Mountain is like a large golden desert. Every sword mountain is separated by about 10,000 meters. Therefore, the 100,000 Sword Mountain occupies a very large area of the desert and is also named the Sword Forest Desert. The interior of the Sword Forest Desert is incomparably spacious, and no one can approach the center. Even if they fly from high up in the sky, they would feel uncomfortable from the sword formation's imposing aura. At this moment, near the center of the Sword Forest Desert, there is a table in the desert. The blood on the table has already dried up and there are many bloody clothes on the ground. There are 2 men and 2 women, all of them holding a small bucket and drinking the blood from the bucket. They are Dai Jingji and the others who were scared away by Luo Yaofeng in the Imperial Wind Pavilion. The people of the God Desolate are just like that. There are too many weak fellows, there's no nutrition at all. A man complained. The man beside Luo Yaofeng must taste pretty good. He looks pretty strong. A woman's mouth is full of blood, her eyes are filled with ruthlessness. Her appearance is extremely frightening. Dai Jingji wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, licked her lips and cursed in low voice. That stupid girl Luo Yaofeng, she has never tasted human flesh in the 9 heavens for so many years. She has truly lived in vain. No wonder she is so stupid. No wonder she suffered from a strange disease after coming to the God Desolate. What a pity, such a good princess was taken by a stupid person from the God Desolate. After a man finished speaking, he vigorously smashed the bucket filled with blood with a palm strike. He looks very angry and jealous. I want that stupid person to die a horrible death. Another man is also seething with anger. Dai Jingji said with sneer, I'm afraid it's not your turn to make a move. The 9 heavens' 10 emperors have all sent their princes over. They are here for Luo Yaofeng. 10 emperors' princes? The woman cried out in alarm and immediately pulled Dai Jingji's arm. She winked and said with smile, Big sister Dai, help me introduce a prince to me. Sleep? He Hongjiao, aren't you afraid that they will eat you? Dai Jingji played with the ends of her long hair and smiled seductively. It wasn't easy for me to climb into a prince's bed. Hey, don't say this in front of us. We all know how unrestrained you are. The number of men you have slept with is probably more than the number of people we have eaten. How could those princes like you? A man said with sneer. Just as he finished speaking, his head was pierced by He Hongjiao's sword. Dai Jingji also promptly took action and joined hands with He Hongjiao to kill the other man. Hongjiao, you're pretty fast. Dai Jingji licked her lips and said with an evil smile, Come, let's enjoy a feast. I will definitely do my best to bring you to the prince's bed. Thank you, big sister. He Hongjiao laughed sinisterly. Hongjiao, don't be discouraged if you can't sleep with a prince. I will introduce a few geniuses from Ancestor God Sun to you. They are from Jiang Jiuquan's side. Dai Jingji said with smile. Jiang Jiuquan? Isn't that the son of the 9 heavens' 3 great divine kings? He Hongjiao said in shock. The genius he nurtured is coming? And, even though the 9 heavens' 10 emperors are powerful, they are only rulers of one region. Even if they join forces, they can't defeat the 3 divine kings who have the inheritance of a divine king. Dai Jingji said, We better hook up with Jiang Jiuquan and leave a way out for us. Big sister, which divine king's daughter is Luo Yaofeng? I don't even know the names of those divine kings. Which divine king is surnamed Luo? He Hongjiao asked while cutting a man's corpse. I don't know either. I only know that she is the daughter of a divine king. As for which divine king, I am still investigating. As for those princes, they have never seen Luo Yaofeng, so they don't know. Dai Jingji shook her head. She is also cutting a man's corpse. Chapter 23:48. Qin Yun stood behind Luo Yaofeng. He had also changed his clothes. It was a set of black and red tight-fitting soft armor. It was very fitting to his body. At his waist, there was a long saber. Miss Luo, what's with this outfit? Its defense is quite strong. Qin Yun probed and discovered that there are many complicated runes carved on the inside of the clothes. These runes look a bit like heavenly runes. Moreover, the materials used to make these clothes are very high quality. If someone asks you, just say that you are the Divine King's Guard and are responsible for protecting me. Also, you have to call me Princess. Luo Yaofeng said, if we meet Dai Jingji and the rest, leave them to me. Don't make a sound. Qin Yun nodded and asked curiously, Princess, what are godly monarch guards? When Luo Yaofeng heard Qin Yun call her princess, she seemed rather happy. She said with a chuckle, there are 3 god kings in the 9 heavens and they are all very powerful. This is mainly because the 9 heavens divine king heavenly seal was split into 3 parts and obtained by 3 people. None of them were willing to hand over the part in their hands, so it has always been in a deadlock. Hold on. Big brother Yun, you said that you are the king of gods. It's fine to say it here, but it's very dangerous to say it in the 9 heavens. Back at the divine Yang Peak, Elder Zhao had said that the godly king heavenly seal was extremely important. Only by grasping the god king heavenly seal could one become the strongest god king in the divine world. The 9 heavens also had a divine king heavenly seal, and it was split into 3 parts. Qin Yun also recalled that he had split the godly monarch heavenly seal into 3 parts to prevent it from falling into the hands of others. Princess, is your father a god king? Qin Yun asked. He did not find it strange. Don't ask so much. Luo Yaofeng laughed. When he was in the White Sun City of the Universe of Heaven, he learned from City Lord Bai's son, Bai Xia, that Bai Suxin was the daughter of the White Sun God Realm's White Sun God King. The White Sun God Realm also had 3 god kings. Qin Yun suspected that the White Sun Divine World's godly monarch heavenly seal was also split into 3 parts. Perhaps most of the God World's God King heavenly seals were split into 3 parts. The God Kings of the other divine worlds might not even have a complete God King heavenly seal. Qin Yun, who was in the Gods Desolate, had a complete godly king heavenly seal. It's no wonder Elder Zhao and company wanted it so badly. If he had the God King heavenly seal, he would be the only God King in the divine wilderness in the future. They were even stronger than the God Kings of the other God realms. At that time, if he could go to other God worlds, he might be able to suppress other God Kings and obtain their God King heavenly seals. Princess, how do we get in now? Qin Yun looked at the sky. It was already late. The 3 myriad worlds' divine suns were about to descend the mountain, emitting a golden-red sunset glow. I contacted someone earlier and asked him to come out and bring me in. Luo Yaofeng said in a low voice, try not to talk too much when you see others. At this moment, a figure appeared in the barrier. Qin Yun looked over and saw a handsome white-clothed youth walking over quickly. Clearly, Luo Yaofeng had used some sort of method to contact this youth. The white-clothed man walked out of the enchantment easily. When he saw Luo Yaofeng, he bowed slightly and said, Senior, you're finally here. Junior Jiang Daliang is Jiang Jiuquan's eldest son. Qin Yun is alarmed. He previously felt that Jiang Daliang looked a bit like Jiang Jiuquan. So he is Jiang Jiuquan's son. What makes him feel strange is, why is Jiang Jiuquan's son in the Sword Forest Desert? He can even come and go freely. Furthermore, Jiang Jiuquan's son calls Luo Yaofeng Sr. In that case, Jiang Jiuchuan and Luo Yaofeng are of the same generation. How's your father recently? After I came here, I only saw him twice. Because of my body, I have been cultivating in seclusion for many years. Luo Yaofeng no longer has that gentle and charming appearance from before. Instead, she has a rather cold and arrogant attitude. Clearly, this is a deliberate act of hers. In front of these people, she pretended to be like this. It can be considered a kind of self-protection. Father is doing very well. He can now be considered the Nine Heavens Divine Desolate, Nine Heavens Divine Races Clan King. After Elder Zhao died, Father's power increased with each passing day. If Senior has time, you can go to the ancestral godson and have a chat with Father. Jiang Daliang glanced at Qin Yun from the corner of his eyes. He is also very curious about Qin Yun. Elder Zhao is actually dead? Luo Yaofeng is very astonished. I remember that he was the younger brother of a god king. How did he die? It's a long story. Jiang Daliang said. Luo Yaofeng waved her hand and said, Don't talk about it first, bring me in. Jiang Daliang looked at Qin Yun and said, This is a god king's guard? Luo Yaofeng nodded. I found him in the god Desolate. His strength is not bad. He is trustworthy and can help me stabilize that strange illness. Senior, your condition has improved. That's great. If Father knew, he would definitely be very happy. Jiang Daliang nodded and said. Jiang Daliang is very suspicious of Qin Yun's strength, because he can only see that Qin Yun is a sacred god. In his eyes, a sacred god is not qualified to be a god king's guard. Although he has doubts, Jiang Daliang does not dare to ask. He took out a token and activated it to release energy to open the barrier. You have already taken control of this formation? Luo Yaofeng asked. Not completely. There are a few sects that can barely grasp the method to enter and exit the formation freely. It's very difficult to completely control this formation unless one can subdue the array spirit. Jiang Daliang quickly created a golden door. After Luo Yaofeng brought Qin Yun in, he asked, Has the array spirit not been subdued yet? It's very difficult to subdue. Jiang Daliang said, Senior, there are 3 princes already inside the formation. Do you want to meet them? No. Luo Yaofeng coldly rejected. They are not worthy of being on equal footing with me. There are a few young genius sacred gods from strong races. They are now my father's subordinates. Many of the strong races in the god Desolate have merged with my father and become the new Nine Heavens divine race. Jiang Daliang said, They are also here to fight for the divine Yang heavenly land. Qin Yun listened quietly from the side. When he heard that someone is also fighting for the divine Yang heavenly land, he is secretly astonished. He does not know what the divine Yang heavenly land is, but he can tell that it is definitely something very important. Little Jiang, then what do you mean? When Luo Yaofeng heard the words divine Yang heavenly land, her eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor. The third divine sun has already appeared and will descend upon the divine Yang heavenly land at the center of this formation. At that time, many people will come to fight for it. The older generation have already agreed not to take action, so only the younger generation can take action. Jiang Daliang said with some difficulty. You think that because I'm from the older generation, I can't take action, right? Luo Yaofeng said with a sneer. If Senior wants to take action, I'm afraid you will be besieged by the other elders. This will make things very difficult for us. Jiang Daliang said, Senior, this is the god Desolate, not the Nine Heavens. Here, not everyone will give in to you. I don't need others to give in to me. I'm not afraid of being besieged. Luo Yaofeng's voice is very cold, one can feel her killing intent. Jiang Daliang's face is immediately covered in sweat. He immediately nodded and said, Senior, this junior spoke too much just now. I want to go to the center. Luo Yaofeng said. This place is very far from the center. Jiang Daliang pointed in a direction and said, Senior, Junior has an important matter to discuss with my father. At that time, my father will also come here to watch the fight for the divine Yang heavenly land. You can go to the center by yourselves. Alright. Luo Yaofeng nodded. Junior will take his leave. Jiang Daliang walked out of the barrier and walked very quickly. After Jiang Daliang left, Luo Yaofeng let out a long sigh, then smiled at Qin Yun and said, Brother Ah Yun, how was my performance just now? Did I feel like a princess? You don't feel like a little princess at all. I feel like you are a queen, Qin Yun said with a smile. Let's go to the center. Luo Yaofeng giggled, then took out a large carriage and entered the carriage with Qin Yun. After Qin Yun entered the carriage, he could not restrain his curiosity and asked, Princess, who is Jiang Jiuquan? The son of a divine king. I have to say, that divine king was very farsighted back then. He sensed that this god realm has great potential, so he sent his son here early on. Luo Yaofeng said. Jiang Jiuquan is the son of a divine king. This caused Qin Yun to be extremely apprehensive. At the same time, he secretly broke out in a sweat for himself. Jiang Jiuquan came from a place like the 9 heavens and he is the son of a divine king. He even tried to rope in Qin Yun before. This caused Qin Yun to feel a lingering fear. The son of a divine king must know very well how important a complete divine king heavenly seal is. It is impossible for Jiang Jiuquan to not have any thoughts about Qin Yun's divine king heavenly seal. What about those princes? Qin Yun asked again. The 9 heavens is divided into 10 regions, each controlled by 10 heavenly emperors. Their strength is about the same as the 3 divine kings, but the 3 divine kings have a part of the divine king heavenly seal in their hands, so they can suppress those heavenly emperors. Luo Yaofeng stroked her beautiful long hair and said with light snort, That Dai Jingji. She actually wants me to marry those lowly princes. Qin Yun can now confirm that Luo Yaofeng is the daughter of one of the divine kings. Your relationship with Dai Jingji is pretty good. He even called her big sister before. Qin Yun said, She wants you to marry those princes, why are you still calling her that? That's because I want to use her to do things for me. I know very well what kind of person she is. She thinks that it doesn't matter how many men she sleeps with. That's why she wants me to marry those princes. Luo Yaofeng sighed and said, If not for Brother A Yun helping me recover, I might have died in the Imperial Wind Pavilion. Luo Yaofeng is very scheming, Qin Yun is very sure of this point, otherwise she would not have used Dai Jingji. Princess, what is that divine Yang heavenly soil? Is it very important? Qin Yun asked. Very important. There is only a small amount of divine Yang heavenly soil, but this kind of heavenly soil can grow on its own and then turn into a large area. It is very good for planting divine medicines. If we can obtain it and use it properly, we will be able to walk at the forefront of this new divine realm. Luo Yaofeng smiled sweetly. I will snatch it and give it to you. Chapter 2349. Luo Yaofeng took out a sharp dagger and then a purple mud ball. The purple mud ball emitted a faint fragrance. She used the mud ball to wipe the blade of the dagger. Princess, what are you doing? Sharpening the sword? Qin Yun asked. No, I'm tempering the poison. Luo Yaofeng smiled faintly. This poison is very powerful. If you are poisoned by it, your entire body will go numb. Qin Yun is alarmed again. He never expected Luo Yaofeng to have such a technique. Princess, how did you obtain the wind god's divine position? Qin Yun could tell that Luo Yaofeng had used the wind god's divine position quite well. Luo Yaofeng used the sharp dagger in her hand to look at her gentle and beautiful face and said, It was given to me by an old man. At that time I was about to die. After he passed the divine position to me, I unexpectedly recovered a lot and was able to persevere until now. What about the old grandpa? Where did he go? Qin Yun asked anxiously because that old man was most likely the wind god from back then and could be considered his friend. He said he wanted to go to the ancient desolate. Luo Yaofeng said, Brother A Yun, where is the ancient desolate? Is that place very good? I'm not sure what's going on with the ancient desolate either. Qin Yun knew that the ancient desolate was still there, but he did not know how it had changed. The current heaven creation god palace seemed to have returned to the ancient desolate. He originally wanted to find Yu Tian to ask about the situation of the heaven creation god palace, but he could not contact her. He could only let Xiao Yuelan leave a message in the Guanghan Palace. If Yu Tian returned to the Guanghan Palace, he would let her go to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Brother Ayun, do you also have a divine position? Luo Yaofeng asked. And Qin Yun nodded. Then what god are you? Luo Yaofeng was extremely surprised because she could not tell that Qin Yun had a divine position. Sun god. Qin Yun smiled. Liar, I can't sense that you have a divine position. Luo Yaofeng continued to poison her dagger and playfully stuck out her tongue at Qin Yun. In the nine heavens, is there such a thing as a divine position? Qin Yun asked. There used to be, but later it disappeared. I don't know why. Luo Yaofeng said, I cherish my divine position very much. This can be considered an identity for me to come to the divine wasteland. In the future, I will also be considered a member of this place. She was reluctant to part with God's desolate. To her, this place was much better than the nine heavens. Qin Yun also took out his small black knife and said with a smile, Princess, can you help me refine poison these small throwing knives? Of course. Luo Yaofeng took the 10 small black sabers. She held it in her hand and looked at it. She exclaimed in surprise and said, How did it form? It's a little like the demonic arts of the demon emperor in the demon god realm. A demon emperor's demonic art. Qin Yun's ability to condense the small black saber was indeed copied from the nine heavens' divine demons. Among the 3 great god kings of the nine heavens, one of them is from the god-demon realm. Originally, there was a nine heavens demon emperor among the 10 emperors. However, that demon emperor had stolen the celestial sun seed and was sealed away. After that, someone else replaced nine heavens demon emperor. The nine heavens demon lord's name will be erased from the list. Luo Yaofeng said as he helped Qin Yun's little black saber coat with poison. Qin Yun suddenly recalled that Elder Zhao and the nine heavens demon emperor had joined forces. It was very likely that they knew each other. What is the relationship between the nine heavens demon emperor and that god-demon realm god king? Qin Yun asked. He was the one who killed the nine heavens demon emperor, so he wanted to know more. The nine heavens demon emperor is the elder brother of the sky demon god king. Luo Yaofeng said. Originally, the nine heavens demon emperor had the chance to defeat Jiang Jiuquan's god king father after obtaining the sun seed. However, he was sealed by a very powerful force. The nine heavens demon emperor was already dead and Luo Yaofeng did not know about it. Furthermore, it was brother Ah Yun who killed him. Princess, do you think those god kings will send more people here? Qin Yun asked. Of course, they will definitely not let God's desolate go. This will be their new battlefield. Speaking of this, Luo Yaofeng was filled with pessimism. She returned the poisoned small black sabers to Qin Yun. She did not ask how they were made. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng spent the night in the carriage. During the night, Luo Yaofeng rested and Qin Yun channeled the power of the heavenly universe divine sun into her body. As long as she absorbed enough heavenly universe divine sun power, Luo Yaofeng would be able to maintain a very good state. After daybreak, the carriage suddenly stopped. Luo Yaofeng woke up early. When she saw that Qin Yun was still resting with his eyes closed, she did not disturb him. She thought that Qin Yun would be very tired from channeling heavenly universe divine power to her, so she was worried that she would disturb Qin Yun. She got up and was about to quietly leave the carriage when Qin Yun suddenly grabbed her hand. "Princess, don't go out." Qin Yun opened his eyes. "Brother Ah Yun, there's a trap blocking the way. I'll go out and take a look." Luo Yaofeng whispered, "Did I wake you up?" "I haven't slept at all," Qin Yun said with a smile. "The ones blocking the way are Dai Jingji and a woman. They came to the Imperial Wind Pavilion before." Luo Yaofeng can see outside from inside the carriage, but she can't see anyone outside. A small array formation suddenly fell down and stopped the carriage. Luo Yaofeng lightly snorted and said, "Then I have to go out even more. This Dai Jingji needs a lesson, she actually dares to stop my carriage." At this moment, Dai Jingji's voice came from outside. "Princess Luo, it's big sister Dai." Dai Jingji said with a charming smile. "Did you come in because you thought it through? Dai Jingji, you dare to stop me?" Luo Yaofeng is very angry. "Elder sister, I'm not stopping you, it's a prince wants to see you," Dai Jingji said with a smile. "Princess Luo, quickly come out. That prince is very handsome." He Hongjiao, who is beside Dai Jingji, also shouted, "That prince can't wait any longer. If you don't come out, he might barge in." Qin Yun looked at the situation outside through his heavenly eye. In front of him, there is a huge sword mountain towering in the desert. Below the sword mountain is a magnificent palace. That prince is clearly inside the palace. He Hongjiao and Dai Jingji have already flown to the entrance of the palace. The palace suddenly descended, and at the same time, there was a formation that blocked Luo Yaofeng's carriage from advancing. "Which heavenly emperor's prince is it?" Luo Yaofeng asked. "The prince of the Southern Sky Emperor. His talent is extremely high. He is already at the peak of the sacred god realm, and his 6 Tao images have already evolved into sacred heavenly Tao images. Tao images are extremely rare," Dai Jingji said. "Only 6 sacred heavenly Tao images, and you call that extremely high talent?" My maid back then also had 6 sacred heavenly Tao images," Luo Yaofeng disdainfully mocked. "That bullshit prince can't even compare to my maid." Qin Yun is also secretly alarmed. This Luo Yaofeng's background is indeed extraordinary. Even her maid has 6 Tao images. "My princess sister, you are not in the 9 heavens right now but in the divine desolate. You did not bring your maid with you," Dai Jingji said with a charming smile. At this moment, a cold and aloof voice came out from the dazzling golden palace. "Princess Luo, I am the 13th son of the Southern Sky Emperor, Ling Yiqian. Although I am not a genius, I am ranked 27th on the 9 heavens sacred god list. There are so many sacred gods in the 9 heavens, I am ranked 27th and can enter the top 30. I am not someone that any maid can compare to." Ling Yiqian was also infuriated by Luo Yaofeng's mockery. "Wait until you are ranked first, then come and see me. You are not worthy of seeing me," Luo Yaofeng said with a sneer. "Only the first on the 9 heavens sacred god list can barely enter my eyes. Princess Luo is indeed as arrogant and conceited as the rumors say. Moreover, you consider everyone beneath you. I, Ling Yiqian, advise you that a wise man submits to circumstances. Now that you are not in the 9 heavens and do not have the protection of the Divine King, you are just a slightly stronger woman." Ling Yiqian snorted heavily. "Even if I do not have the protection of the Divine King, in my eyes, you are still nothing," Luo Yaofeng said with a loud sneer. "No matter what, I am still stronger than you princes. This is my innate nobility, it is not something that lowly princes like you can compare to." Qin Yun found it somewhat funny. Ling Yiqian was clearly the son of the heavenly emperor. He had both talent and strength, but he was said to be a lowly prince. He could imagine that Ling Yiqian was so angry that he flipped the table. He Hongjiao and Dai Jingji are also grinding their teeth in anger. They are jealous and angry in their hearts. They are very envious of Luo Yaofeng's background. Ling Yiqian laughed angrily. His voice reverberated from the glorious palace. Luo Yaofeng, you are suffering from a chronic illness and I can cure it. Instead of lowering your head to me, you are mocking and ridiculing me. Do you not want to live any more? I'm fine now. I don't need you to treat me and I don't need to lower my head to you. A lowly thing like you is not even worthy of carrying my shoes, and you want me to lower my head to you? Luo Yaofeng laughed loudly and retorted sarcastically. This is also the reason why Luo Yaofeng is so good to Qin Yun. Because Qin Yun helped her without asking for anything in return, she could feel Qin Yun's sincerity. Therefore, in front of Qin Yun, she revealed her truest side. Do you really think I don't dare to attack you? Ling Yiqian is infuriated. The palace suddenly shot out a golden light and a person broke through the roof of the palace. Through his heavenly eye, Qin Yun could see that person wearing mighty golden armor and holding a huge golden red saber. He flew towards Luo Yaofeng's carriage. He's coming, Qin Yun said softly. Don't be afraid, I can deal with him. Luo Yaofeng is currently at her peak condition. The main reason why she looks down on those princes is because she herself is very strong. As for how strong she is, Qin Yun is also unable to see through it. Luo Yaofeng took out 2 masks and gave one to Qin Yun. She said softly, "Brother Ah Yun, put it on." She also wore a mask. The main reason was that she did not want Ling Yiqian to see her face. She felt that the prince was not worthy of seeing her beautiful face. Qin Yun followed Luo Yaofeng out and saw that Ling Yiqian is already beside the carriage. Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao also followed behind him. Other than them, many people also came out from the palace. There are many young sacred gods in that group of people. They should be from those powerful races and those who came from ancestral god Sunday. Most of them are from the 9 heavens divine race. Even Jiang Jiuquan's son, Jiang Daliang, is here. He clearly said that he would return to ancestral god Sun, but now he is here. Divine King's bodyguard? Ling Yiqian looked at Qin Yun and said in shock. Ling Yiqian's sword-like eyebrows are vertical. His face is fair like jade and his eyes are like stars. He looks like a rather handsome man. Chapter 2350. Qin Yun is very interested in the tool that can see through one's cultivation. He never expected that the sacred heavenly Tao image he cultivated would be detected. He is currently cultivating the second sacred heavenly Tao image and only lacks an opportunity to evolve. The other reason why he came to exterminate the divine sword race is to find that opportunity. He is Brother Ah Yun, so what? Luo Yaofeng said with a sneer. Dai Jingji, don't look down on people. Brother Ah Yun's strength is far above yours. Even those bullshit princes are not his match. These words completely infuriated Ling Yiqian. Even the other 2 princes in the crowd have ugly expressions and almost jumped out. Dai Jingji is very proud of herself. She clearly wanted to provoke Luo Yaofeng so that he could attack those princes. Luo Yaofeng looked at Jiang Daliang, who was hiding in the crowd. When Jiang Daliang came into contact with Luo Yaofeng's eyes, which are filled with fierce killing intent, he immediately jumped in fright. Dai Jingji, the princes and the group of people all knew that Luo Yaofeng and Qin Yun had come in. Clearly, it was Jiang Daliang who spread the news. As for Jiang Daliang, he said that he had to return to the ancestral god Sun City to find his father. Who would have thought that he would secretly go back and call a large group of people to wait for Luo Yaofeng on the way? Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng thought about it and knew that it was Jiang Daliang who did it. Previously, this guy was very respectful in front of Luo Yaofeng, but he secretly did this kind of thing. Senior, we are all from the 9 heavens, we are all from the 9 heavens divine race, we should live in harmony. I informed them only to welcome your arrival. Jiang Daliang quickly explained. I'm not going to live in harmony with a group of lowly man-eating animals like you. You bastards, do you think I don't know what you're planning? Luo Yaofeng coldly replied to Jiang Daliang. Don't think that just because your father is Jiang Jiuchuan, I won't attack you. I will remember this debt. I respect you as my senior, that's why I'm polite to you. However, you are overbearing. Don't think that just because you are the daughter of the Divine King, I will be afraid of you. In the 9 heavens, you are indeed powerful because you have the backing of a Divine King, but in the Divine Wasteland, you are nothing. Jiang Daliang was also very angry and sneered. Dai Jingji was very happy because she saw that this high and mighty princess was not being worshipped by others. Instead, she was being scolded by others. In the gods desolate, even the 9 heavens godly monarch princess would have to rely on her strength. Ling Yiqian said, Princess Luo, after you came to the gods' wilderness, you suffered from a chronic illness for many years. I'm afraid your current strength is not even 50% of what it was in the 9 heavens, right? I've already recovered. Luo Yaofeng said, If you guys are not convinced, then come at me. Let's see who dies first. Dai Jingji said, She is just bluffing. That brother Yun only cultivated the sacred heavenly Tao image. He can't completely cure her. At most, he can only restore her complexion. Ling Yiqian and his men had the advantage in numbers. Moreover, they believed that Luo Yaofeng's current condition was very poor, so they were not afraid of Luo Yaofeng at all. Luo Yaofeng and Qin Yun can feel the hostility from all directions. Most of the people here are here to watch the show and most of them want to attack her. Qin Yun did not say a word. He is only secretly accumulating power. If they suddenly attack, he will counterattack. Qin Yun is not afraid at all when facing the siege of so many people. Previously, he fought against the demon emperor alone and annihilated the 3 emperors. But most of the people here are juniors, so they might not be enough for him to kill. If he could avoid fighting, Qin Yun would try his best not to. That's because his main goal is to occupy the Sword Forest Desert and then obtain the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil. If he was killed by the juniors here and a group of seniors came, then the progress would not be that smooth. Once he occupied the Sword Forest Desert and obtained the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil, this group of juniors would be at his mercy. Are you going to make a move? Luo Yaofeng said coldly to Ling Yiqian, You are a man-eating beast. Logically speaking, you do not have the qualifications to fight me. But since you wish to die, then come. Luo Yaofeng knows very well what these princes are planning. They want to join forces to capture Luo Yaofeng and then make her bear children for them. Therefore, Luo Yaofeng does not have any good impression of these princes. It is also because she came to the divine desolate land and suffered from a strange illness that these princes dared to have such thoughts about her. Princess Luo, my father is the South Sky Emperor after all. His strength is not comparable to the God King, but that is because he does not have the God King Heavenly Seal. If the God King did not have the Heavenly Seal, they would not be my father's match. Ling Yiqian pointed at Luo Yaofeng and said with an angry laugh, And you do not have the Heavenly Seal at all. Our positions are the same to begin with, but you look down on me. Today, I will teach you how to be a person. As he spoke, the finger Ling Yiqian pointed at Luo Yaofeng suddenly burst out with a red light. It is like an intense lightning bolt, it's cold and threatening. Qin Yun did not know if Luo Yaofeng could block it, but he believed that he could. Therefore, he immediately took action and slapped the cold lightning bolt with his palm. Whoosh! A whistling sound could be heard. Qin Yun actually slapped the lightning bolt back and it landed on Ling Yiqian's body. While Ling Yiqian was alarmed, he hurriedly reacted and blocked the red cold lightning bolt. Although he managed to block the attack, he was still forced to retreat more than 10 steps. Everyone present understood Ling Yiqian's strength. After all, he was the son of the South Sky Emperor and had a peak sacred god realm cultivation. The lightning bolt he shot out was also very strong, but it was repelled by a palm of flesh. Qin Yun's large success heavenly body meant that his palm was not an ordinary palm. Even if a very powerful divine weapon were to attack him, he could use his palm to repel it. Everyone looked at Qin Yun in astonishment. They knew that he was a god king's guard, but they never expected him to be that powerful. Luo Yaofeng originally thought that he would have to take action, but seeing how strong Qin Yun was, he secretly felt relieved. You are not worthy to be the princess's opponent. You are not even worthy of carrying the princess shoes. Qin Yun also pointed at the retreating Ling Yiqian, and then struck out with a very powerful finger force. Heaven-severing finger, piercing firmament. This finger force condensed Qin Yun's 10 meridians divine power. Furthermore, it was imperial heaven divine power condensed from the heart of imperial heaven. Ling Yiqian wore golden armor, which also had an extremely strong defense. He could feel that Qin Yun's finger force was very powerful, so he immediately summoned a thick golden shield to float in front of him. Boom! The power that penetrated the heavens carried with it the power to penetrate the heavens. It directly penetrated the thick golden shield and landed on Ling Yiqian's armor. A loud sound accompanied by a shock wave spread in all directions. Ling Yiqian's armor cracked and his entire body flew backwards. When everyone saw this scene, they cried out in alarm and retreated. After that finger force penetrated the thick golden shield, it actually had a very strong penetrating power. It shattered Ling Yiqian's armor. This kind of divine power made people feel fear. Just as everyone was reeling in shock, Qin Yun's body shot over like a beam of light. Ling Yiqian cried out in alarm. He immediately waved the golden red saber in his hand and slashed at Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun's speed was very fast. In a flash, he had appeared in front of Ling Yiqian. He grabbed Ling Yiqian's saber-wielding arm and injected a very strong force into it. At the same time, he kicked Ling Yiqian's chest. As Ling Yiqian was sent flying, his arm that Qin Yun had grabbed was also torn apart. His flying body and arm were instantly separated. An arm and the golden red saber were torn apart just like that. Ling Yiqian, who had been sent flying, had blue blood flowing from his severed arm. Seeing that level of heavenly blood, Qin Yun felt even more disdain. Sitting on the ground, Ling Yiqian's face was filled with fear. He was a peak sacred god. However, Luo Yaofeng's godly monarch guard had torn his arm off in a few moves. He Hongjiao and Dai Jingji were dumbfounded, their hearts filled with fear. Although they could not see the masked Qin Yun's face, they could tell from his voice that it was that brother Ah Yun. If the Nine Heavens Demon Emperor was here, even if there were more juniors, they would not be a match for the Nine Heavens Demon Emperor. On the other hand, Qin Yun was able to kill the Nine Heavens Demon Emperor and even twist his head off. They had no idea how powerful Qin Yun was. Even if Jiang Jiuquan came, he would have to be respectful to Qin Yun. Qin Yun had wanted to test the heaven sealing chain, but his opponent was too weak. There was no way he could test the heaven sealing chain's power, so he could only give up. If you don't want to die, kneel. Like a dog, respectfully beg the princess for mercy. Qin Yun said coldly, I don't kill dogs. As long as you admit that you are a dog, I won't kill you. Qin Yun pointed 2 fingers at Ling Yiqian. Everyone had seen the power of his finger. It was something that no defense could withstand. Everyone present did not dare to breathe too fast. They watched the scene in silence and fear. Jiang Daliang was even more frightened. He thought that Luo Yaofeng was very weak, and that the godly monarch guard beside him was even weaker. He did not expect him to be so ferocious, beating a prince like a dog with his bare hands. If Jiang Daliang knew that Qin Yun could fight his father Jiang Jiuquan alone, he would definitely be scared to death. Ling Yiqian was so scared that his entire body trembled for a while. Only then did he crawl in front of Luo Yaofeng. As he apologized to Luo Yaofeng, he barked like a dog and kept saying that he was a dog. No one dared to laugh. They only felt a deep fear, fear in the face of powerful strength. Brother Yun, let's go. Luo Yaofeng also knew that if this continued, it would be difficult for the older generation to take action. Qin Yun looked at Jiang Daliang and shouted coldly, "Get the hell over here!" If not for Jiang Daliang leaking the news of Luo Yaofeng's arrival, this group of people would not be waiting here. When Jiang Daliang walked over, both of his legs were trembling, but he shouted loudly, "My father is Jiang Jiuquan. Ling Yiqian is a prince, but his heavenly emperor father is not in the God Wasteland, and my father is in the God Wasteland, the clan king of the 9 heavens divine race here." He brought up his father in the hopes of intimidating Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. "Do you think I'm afraid of your father?" Qin Yun said coldly. "If you want to live, you should know what to do." Chapter 23:51. Luo Yaofeng's first move was to use poison. Her poison was indeed very terrifying. After Jiang Daliang's face came into contact with the poison, it cracked open and a lot of thick black liquid flowed out. It was also emitting black gas. Jiang Daliang was terrified to the extreme. He did not feel the pain on his cheek, but he could feel that the poison was very terrifying. Fortunately, his strength was not weak, and he hurriedly circulated his energy to resist the poison from invading his body. "It was clearly you who exposed my whereabouts and brought me so much trouble. You don't know how to repent and even insulted brother Ah Yun." Luo Yaofeng also saw Jiang Daliang scolding Qin Yun, so he flew into a rage. Jiang Daliang was with this group of people, so it was impossible for him to not know what kind of people they were. However, he had told them Luo Yaofeng's whereabouts, so it was obvious that he truly harbored ill intentions. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng hated such people very much. Otherwise, they could have secretly headed to the center of the array and waited for the divine Yang heavenly earth to descend. "Princess Luo, no matter what, he is still Jiang Jiuquan's son. Jiang Jiuquan is now our clan king. He is the strongest person in our 9 heaven divine race in God Desolate. He will lead our 9 heaven divine race to become the strongest race in God Desolate." Someone stood up and said, "And you are also from the 9 heavens. The group should unite." Luo Yaofeng sneered, "Unite? These princes from the 9 heavens have ill intentions towards me, treating me like a sow, giving birth to their children. They take the talented ones away and eat the untalented ones. Don't you know that?" The expressions of that group of people were all extremely cold. It could be seen that they knew that most of them came from the 9 heavens. Only a small portion of the powerful races that were born in the divine wasteland were surprised by this. Jiang Daliang's face was still emitting black gas. The poison had been resisted by him, but the poison had not been detoxified. He was now scared to death. "Princess Luo, if you want your strange illness to be completely cured, you will need a man's cooperation. Those princes also want to help you cure your illness." Dai Jingji smiled and explained, "You misunderstood them." "Bullshit." Luo Yaofeng was infuriated. He sent a palm strike towards Dai Jingji. The palm strike brought along a gust of black wind as it charged through the air. That wave of air was accompanied by a faint aroma. It was obvious that it was very poisonous. Dai Jingji was shocked. At this moment, someone rushed over and released a blue shield, blocking Luo Yaofeng's poison. Ling Yiqian, who had just lost an arm, and Jiang Daliang, who had been poisoned, had already retreated into the crowd. This way, even if Luo Yaofeng wanted to kill them, it would not be that easy. The man who had just saved Dai Jingji wore blue armor and had silver hair. His eyes shone with blue light, and his face was slender and fair, making him look handsome and elegant. When Qin Yun saw this person, he knew that he was a 9 heavens divine demon. "Big brother little demon king, thank you so much." Dai Jingji immediately smiled coquettishly and kissed the little demon king. He Hongjiao, who was at the side, also leaned on the little demon king. The little goblin king hugged two powerful holy god realm women on his left and right. Those two women were both from the Nine Heavens divine clan. Because they had their own charm, many young elites from the Nine Heavens divine clan were infatuated with them. Seeing that the little demon king had these two women, the youths beside him were all very envious. Luo Yaofeng, how have you been? The little demon king smiled at Luo Yaofeng. Do you still remember me? Sky Demon Divine King's ninth son? I have some impression of him. Back then, we fought once and your face was beaten to a pulp by me. Luo Yaofeng immediately stood in front of Qin Yun. Clearly, the little demon king was very strong. She was afraid that Qin Yun would be injured. Luo Yaofeng, you don't know, right? The little demon king's father, the Sky Demon Divine King, is also one of the 10 emperors. He is much stronger than the God King behind you. Dai Jingji sneered. She and He Hongjiao had long since determined who the God King behind Luo Yaofeng was. There were only 3 God Kings in the 9 heavens. One was Jiang Jiuquan's father. This was clearly not the God King behind Luo Yaofeng. The other was the Heaven Demon Divine King from the God Demon realm. This was also not the God King behind Luo Yaofeng. In that case, there was only one God King behind Luo Yaofeng. That God King was very mysterious. He was called the Shadow God King. No one had ever seen the appearance of this mysterious God King. They only knew that he was very strong. The Shadow God King had a very strong and mysterious God King bodyguard. The clothes they wore were exactly the same as what Qin Yun was wearing. Ninth young master, you are truly a hungry person. You even want a slut like Dai Jingji. Your taste is simply a disgrace to your father, the God King. Luo Yaofeng mocked. You! Dai Jingji is very angry. The little demon king is also furious. Luo Yaofeng, I admit that you are very strong. But look around, there are so many people here. Do you think you can leave? The little demon king chuckled. I have to say, we are all very grateful to little Jiang. If not for him, we wouldn't have known that you had come in. Jiang Daliang has already suppressed the poison on his face. He had also eaten many pills earlier and recovered a little. He laughed loudly and said, No need to be polite. I've long been unhappy with her. I don't understand why my father would be so polite to her. There's no need for that. Luo Yaofeng laughed loudly and said, Good, you have guts. If you want to attack me, then come out and report your names. I want to see what kind of background you have. Forget about names. You just need to know that we are all from the 9 heavens divine race. A man wearing red armor who seems to have an extremely high status stood out and said coldly, I am the 17th son of the North Sky Emperor. My name? A destitute princess like you is not qualified to know. I am from the 9 heavens divine race, divine Yang Hall. This is a young sacred god from the divine Yang race. Now, the divine Yang race has already merged with Jiang Jiuquan's 9 heavens divine race. I am from the 9 heavens divine race, 9 underworld hall. This is the 9 underworld race. I am from the 9 heavens divine race, 9 Yang hall. This is the 9 Yang heavenly race. I am from the 9 heavens divine race, heavenly demon hall. This is the heavenly demon god race. I am the eldest son of the 9 heavens divine race's clan king, Jiang Jiuquan. Jiang Daliang also shouted. Jiang Daliang is the head of the divine Yang Hall, 9 underworld hall, 9 Yang Hall and heavenly demon hall's young sacred gods. This gives him a lot of face. Following that, the other young sacred gods of the 9 heavens divine race faction all reported their origins. It can be said that they are all from the 9 heavens divine race, and only the little demon kings are from the 9 heavens demon race. Clearly, they had previously discussed to capture Luo Yaofeng. Because Luo Yaofeng is a threat to them. After all, she is the daughter of the divine king. She might be able to snatch away the divine Yang heavenly soil. And Luo Yaofeng is not willing to be with them. They need resources to fight against Luo Yaofeng. In my eyes, you are all just a nest of snakes and rats. Luo Yaofeng is not afraid of these people at all. Dai Jingji laughed tenderly. Luo Yaofeng, do you know why we are waiting here? That is because we have a great formation. Divine Sword Clan, that bunch of fellows, their control over this grand array is getting stronger and stronger. After saying that, a halo descended from the sky, trapping Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng inside. Ling Yiqian cursed in his heart. He did not know that there was such a great formation. Otherwise, he would not have admitted his wrongs and begged for mercy like a dog. This made him feel that this group of people were deliberately teasing him. It was also at this moment that Ling Yiqian realized why Luo Yaofeng looked down on him and the other princes, because a prince like him would be nothing in the gods desolate. Jiang Daliang has Jiang Jiuquan as his father and the little demon king has the divine king behind him. Ha ha! We didn't even need to do anything. We were just scaring you guys. Jiang Daliang laughed loudly. Damn you, Luo Yaofeng, you slut who pretends to be aloof. Qin Yun secretly tested it out. The huge golden halo that trapped them is indeed very strong. It is as if they are trapped. Just as Qin Yun was about to use his powerful divine power to break through, he saw a small blue mountain appear in Luo Yaofeng's palm. After the blue mountain appeared, a very strong aura rushed out, bringing with it a very strong divine power that attacked the halo that sealed them. When he saw that small mountain, Qin Yun felt that the feeling was very familiar. He couldn't tell what it was. At this moment, Little Demon King and Jiang Daliang cried out in alarm and hurriedly retreated. Run! Luo Yaofeng has the seal of the Nine Heavens Divine King Heavenly Seal in his hand. Jiang Daliang roared and in an instant, he disappeared without a trace. Little Demon King cursed in a low voice. What's going on? The Shadow God King gave the Divine King Heavenly Seal to Luo Yaofeng? Little Demon King also ran away without looking back. When the princes and people from the Nine Heavens divine race learned that Luo Yaofeng had a portion of the Divine King Heavenly Seal in his hands, they all fled in panic. Dai Jingji's face turned pale from fright. She finally understood why Luo Yaofeng looked down on those princes. Even Jiang Jiuquan was not in her eyes. It was because Luo Yaofeng had the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Boom! Luo Yaofeng activated the Divine King Heavenly Seal and immediately shook off the golden halo, successfully escaping. Qin Yun also understood why this feeling was so familiar. It was because it was the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Although it was a heavenly seal from another god realm, the feeling was still the same. Let's go! Luo Yaofeng released her carriage and brought Qin Yun in. After entering the carriage, she hurriedly said, Brother A Yun, quickly help me recover. I consumed a lot of energy just now. Qin Yun immediately used his finger to tap her chest and injected a very strong heavenly universe divine sun power. I know the reason why you've been so weak for so many years. Qin Yun had just discovered that the head of the Divine King Heavenly Seal was severely damaged. The head of the seal had always been in Luo Yaofeng's body. It could be said that it had completely occupied Luo Yaofeng's energy, causing her to be unable to absorb it. It's probably because of that seal. Luo Yaofeng sighed softly. She clearly knew. The Nine Heavens Divine King Heavenly Seal, the head of the seal is a mountain? Qin Yun asked. Chapter 23:52. Luo Yaofeng did not say much about the godly king backing her. It was not because she was wary of Qin Yun, but because she did not wish to bring up sad matters. Maybe I can return this seal in the future. This is not suitable for me. Luo Yaofeng sighed softly and kept the small mountain in his hand. The small mountain directly sank into her palm. The fact that it could fuse so well with her body meant that it had obtained her approval. The Shadow God King definitely hopes that you can come to this new world and rely on this seal to become stronger and live a better life. Qin Yun gently patted her shoulder and comforted her. Luo Yaofeng calmed himself down and revealed a faint smile. Brother Ah Yun, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. You hid your strength well. The deity's desolate is so huge, there are truly crouching tigers and hidden dragons. I never said I was weak, Qin Yun said with a smile. He is currently helping Luo Yaofeng recover. Brother Yun, you don't seem to have any interest in my Yushan seal head. Luo Yaofeng pursed his lips and smiled. Although the little demon kings and the rest are scared half to death, they are still looking at my seal greedily. The divine wilderness also has a godly king heavenly seal. What would happen if your godly king heavenly seal from the 9 heavens came to the divine wilderness? Qin Yun smiled. He was rather curious about this. Although he had the complete godly king heavenly seal, his understanding of it was inferior to Luo Yaofeng's. The other god worlds' heavenly seals will be of a lower level when they come to the gods desolate. In the All Heavens Divine Desolate, the All Heavens Divine Desolate's heavenly seal was naturally the strongest. The foreign ones are far inferior to the local ones. Luo Yaofeng said, if I were to clash with the natives who control the heavenly seal, then my heavenly seal might even be devoured. So it's like this. Qin Yun's heavenly seal is complete, but it is still in the growing stage. Although Luo Yaofeng's seal was only a part of it, it was the kind that had grown. In comparison, Qin Yun's divine king heavenly seal was equivalent to a young dragon, while Luo Yaofeng's seal head was the dragon's head. Maybe Luo Yaofeng's head seal is stronger now, but when Qin Yun's divine king heavenly seal matures in the future, the difference in strength will be obvious. I didn't expect them to join forces against me. These guys are too despicable. Luo Yaofeng sighed softly. They are from the 9 heavens, their habits are like this. Brother Ah Yun is the best. In the 9 skies it was really the strong preying on the weak. If the weak didn't hide well, once they were met by the strong, they would be eaten at any moment. For example, Luo Yaofeng. With her status and identity she was high up in the 9 heavens. But now, in the gods desolate, she was in an extremely poor state. Those princes all wanted to trample on her. Princess, you shouldn't have exposed the seal in your hand. I can handle that kind of situation just now. Qin Yun said. It doesn't matter. After I snatch the divine Yang Sky land and give it to you, I will hide. The divine wilderness is so big. It won't be easy for them to find me. Luo Yaofeng was not worried at all. In order to protect Qin Yun, Luo Yaofeng had taken out the seal because he was worried that he would be injured. Soon, Qin Yun helped Luo Yaofeng recover. With Luo Yaofeng's current cultivation, using that seal would consume a lot of energy. Big Brother Yun, God Desolate's God King Heavenly Seal, should also be split into 3 parts. Generally speaking, there are Soul Seal, Body Seal, and Head Seal. If you can obtain a part, you will become a God King in the future. Luo Yaofeng smiled. I hope you can obtain a part and become a God King. Princess, your head seal is very strong. You are still unable to control it. Why is it like this? Qin Yun asked. This head seal has been used by the God King for many years. It has grown along with the God King. It is indeed very difficult for me to control it with my current cultivation. Luo Yaofeng shook her head and sighed. The large carriage quickly rushed towards the center. No matter what was in the center, Luo Yaofeng was not afraid because she had the head seal. Even if she faced Jiang Jiuquan, she would not be afraid. She wanted to obtain the divine Yang heavenly soil and give it to Qin Yun to thank him for his help. The little demon king, Jiang Daliang, and the others who fled earlier are now gathered together, feeling a lingering fear in their hearts. Dai Jingji said with a face full of fear. I really didn't expect that the Shadow God King would hand over the Yushan head seal to a little girl to bring to the gods desolate. That head seal is really terrifying. I feel like it can crush me at any time. The fear on the North Sky Emperor's prince's face did not fade as he sighed. Everyone, don't be afraid. This is a good thing for us. We can snatch her head seal. Once we obtain it, we can become even stronger. Jiang Daliang calmed down and said with a proud smile. Let your father snatch it. I'm not going to throw away my life. Leng Yiqian said with sneer. Jiang Daliang, don't forget that you were lightly slapped by Luo Yaofeng just now. Your face was already turned into such a mess. She did not do anything to you because of your father. He Hongjiao said, doesn't the divine sword race control this great formation? Let the divine sword race come again and completely suppress Luo Yaofeng. Are you blind? Didn't you see Luo Yaofeng break the seal in an instant? The little demon king snorted. This is good. We will definitely not be able to compete with Luo Yaofeng in the divine yang heavenly soil. Dai Jingji looked at Jiang Daliang and said, let your father take action. Jiang Jiuquan is so strong. With the power of the ancestral godson, he will definitely be able to suppress Luo Yaofeng and her head seal of Yushan. Leng Yiqian said with sneer. Dai Jingji, if Jiang Jiuquan obtains the head seal of Yushan, he will be a god king. If Jiang Jiuquan and his god king father join hands, they will definitely be able to take down the sky demon god king and unify the 9 heavens and divine desolate. The little demon king's expression is also very ugly. This is what he is worried about because his father is the sky demon god king. Leng Yiqian, don't try to sow discord. Jiang Daliang shouted. I'm just speaking the truth. Leng Yiqian curled his lips and said, Jiang Daliang, don't you want your father to become a god king? If he succeeds, your father and grandfather will both be god kings. The other princes, as well as the young sacred gods from the 9 heavens, are all secretly terrified. When they look at Jiang Daliang, their eyes are filled with respect. Jiang Jiuquan's father is a god king. If Jiang Jiuquan can snatch Luo Yaofeng's head seal, he can also become a god king. With 2 god kings in one family, they can definitely crush the sky demon god king of the god demon realm and force the sky demon god king to hand over a portion of the sky seal. Jiang Daliang laughed loudly and said, everyone, we must live in harmony. Otherwise, we will fall into Luo Yaofeng's trap. That slut might be deliberately trying to sow discord among us. That's right, let's not think too much about the sky seal. After all, that is something for the elders to consider. We juniors must think of a way to snatch the divine yang heaven land. The little demon king also revealed a warm smile. Everyone has a tacit understanding and quickly catered to the little demon king and Jiang Daliang. They all laughed and flattered them. They can't afford to offend these 2 masters. Now that they don't need to pick a side, they are naturally very happy. Leng Yiqian said, everyone, I feel that we not only have to be wary of Luo Yaofeng, the god king guard beside her is also not simple. He is very strong. I dare say that none of us are his match. The little demon king sneered and said, Leng Yiqian, you underestimated the enemy and got beaten up. Now you think that we are no match for that guy. You are just trying to find a way out of this embarrassing situation. The little demon king hugged Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao. These 2 women have both slept with Leng Yiqian before. This is what angered Leng Yiqian the most. They were clearly his women, but they were snatched away by the little demon king. In everyone's eyes, he is the clear sky above his head. 13th Prince of Southern Heaven, that god king guard is not a problem. We can deal with him. Now the biggest problem is Luo Yaofeng. Jiang Daliang said. They have never been beaten by Qin Yun before, so they feel that someone who has cultivated a sacred heavenly Tao image is very easy to deal with. Leng Yiqian was beaten before and even had his arm torn off, so he is very clear about how terrifying Qin Yun is. However, the people here do not admit that they are afraid of a guard. Do as you wish. You will definitely suffer a loss anyways. Leng Yiqian has already decided that even if he dies, he will not face Qin Yun. He has fought with Qin Yun before and he has experienced that kind of fear. Every time he thought of the majestic and unfathomable divine power within Qin Yun's body, a suffocating feeling surged into his heart. It is as if his neck is being strangled and he is unable to breathe. From Ling Yiqian's point of view, even if his father, the Southern Sky Emperor, came, he might not be Qin Yun's match. After this group of people discussed for a while, they decided to find the divine sword race and borrow their control of the Great Formation to suppress Luo Yaofeng. 3 days later, more and more seniors entered the Great Formation and flew towards the center. The 100,000 sword mountains that make up the Sword Forest Desert are now glowing with a strong golden light. At night, they illuminate the vast and flat desert. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng spent 3 days to arrive at the center of the Sword Forest Desert. The center is actually a grassland, and in the middle of the grassland is a lake. Even the divine sword race and the others might not be able to completely control this Sword Forest Desert. Qin Yun passed through the Sword Forest Desert in the past few days and realized how huge this great formation is. 100,000 sword mountains, every one of them looks the same size. However, upon closer inspection, the runes on the sword mountains are all different. When Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng arrived at the center, they wanted to enter the grassland, but they were blocked by a very strong barrier power. The center of the grassland Sword Forest Desert is 10,000 meters wide and circular. The lake in the middle is not very big and can be seen floating high in the sky. There is not a single person on the grassland. It is obvious that no one can enter the grassland. Let's hide first, Luo Yaofeng said in a low voice. Jiang Jiuquan and the elders of the 9 heavens divine race above ancestor god Sun know that I have the Yushan imprint. Many people will definitely come. Qin Yun pulled Luo Yaofeng and arrived at a sword mountain at the side of the grassland. Then, he used the mysterious penetration divine ability and smoothly entered the sword mountain. The interior of the sword mountain is empty. This made Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng somewhat surprised. The sword mountain is like a 10,000 feet long sword stabbed into the desert. Not only is the interior hollow, it is also filled with a large amount of golden mist. The golden mist condensed and rose to the top, condensing into golden water droplets that converged together to form rain that fell. So it's like this inside. I really didn't expect it. Luo Yaofeng, who is wearing a light red dress, is already drenched, making her look especially beautiful and sexy. Chapter 23:53. Qin Yun originally planned to let the Sword Hall occupy this place after taking down the Sword Forest Desert, but now he realized that the Sword Forest Desert is much better than he imagined. Moreover, this place is very big, enough for the entire 9 Yang Divine Palace to stay here. If they could truly take down the Sword Forest Desert, it would undoubtedly allow the entire 9 Yang Divine Palace to develop even more rapidly. Because of Qin Yun, the 9 Yang Divine Palace will definitely be targeted by many major powers in the future. Especially the 9 Heavens Divine Race, the 9 Heavens Demon Race of the God Demon Realm, and other powerful races of the Divine Desolate. They will all be hostile towards Qin Yun and the 9 Yang Divine Palace. The drenched Luo Yaofeng is floating in the air, bathing in the golden mist and golden rain. She looks like a goddess playing in the water, creating a very beautiful and bizarre picture. It is very pleasing to Qin Yun's eyes and heart. Luo Yaofeng's exquisite and beautiful body is greedily absorbing the golden rainwater that is dripping on her body. The rainwater fell on her jade-white skin and quickly seeped through. It can be seen that this rainwater is very useful to her. It is not that Luo Yaofeng cannot absorb the divine power of the myriad realms' divine sun, but the divine power is being devoured by the head seal inside her body. And now, the rainwater can not only satisfy the head seal, it can also nourish Luo Yaofeng's body, making her even more spirited and lively. Princess, this place is very suitable for you. You should stay here for a period of time. Qin Yun said with smile. It is very suitable for me, but this is the territory of those guys. If I stay here for too long, I will definitely be captured by them. Luo Yaofeng smiled and shook her head. She indeed likes this place very much, but she knows that she cannot stay for long. Just drive them away, Qin Yun said with smile. He also intends to do the same. Taking advantage of the fact that the experts from the 9 heavens have not arrived yet and only Jiang Jiuquan is leading the 9 heavens divine race. Qin Yun has seen Jiang Jiuquan before and can see that he is a very timid person. Jiang Jiuquan knows that Qin Yun can defeat the 9 heavens demon emperor and the 3 race emperors, so he is very afraid of Qin Yun. Before he has enough strength, he will not attack Qin Yun. Therefore, Qin Yun must seize the opportunity and take down the Sword Forest Desert as soon as possible while Jiang Jiuquan does not dare to attack him. As long as he controlled the formation formed by the 100,000 Sword Mountains, he could temporarily stabilize it for a period of time. He could also cut off one of the routes from the 9 heavens to the Divine Wilderness. From the 9 heavens to the Empyrean Divine Desolate, there were many paths. The heaven-connecting Grand Array formed by the Sword Forest Mountain Desert was one of them. Brother Yun, it's so comfortable to be drenched in the rain here. Luo Yaofeng smiled sweetly at Qin Yun. At this moment, she looks extremely beautiful. As for Qin Yun, he stood to the side and avoided the rain, allowing Luo Yaofeng to be drenched to his heart's content. And when the rain fell, it would surround Luo Yaofeng. Qin Yun did not stay idle. He used his heavenly eye to see through the thick mountain wall and pay attention to the situation outside. Because the Sword Mountain is beside the grassland, Qin Yun can directly see the grassland in the center of the Sword Forest Desert. Luo Yaofeng was playing in the water by herself, so she could not see what was happening outside. When she saw Qin Yun paying attention to what was happening outside, she felt at ease and went to play in the water. Qin Yun was not only looking at the grassland outside, he was also looking at the tiny lake in the middle of the grassland. The small lake is in the middle of the grassland and it is very calm. It is like a very beautiful mirror, reflecting the dark blue sky. Xiao Yun, this grassland is protected by a barrier. Under the lake in the middle, it might be the center where the underground rivers converge. Ling Yuner said, there must be many underground rivers deep in the Sword Forest Desert. If they are all gathered in the center, then it means that the core of the Great Formation is under the lake. Qin Yun also felt the same way. Qin Yun has been observing the outside and carefully looked around. He did not notice anyone approaching. Then he turned to look at Luo Yaofeng. When he looked over, he was so shocked that his heart skipped a beat. The clothes on Luo Yaofeng's body are getting thinner and thinner. She is only wrapped in a layer of white muslin robe. Princess, quickly put on your clothes. We will be going out at any time. Qin Yun reminded her. Wearing clothes is very uncomfortable. Luo Yaofeng muttered softly. Her eyes are filled with hidden bitterness. She can only silently put on her clothes. When Luo Yaofeng saw that Qin Yun only glanced at her and continued to pay attention to the situation outside, her eyes became even more resentful. She muttered, Brother Yun, am I not beautiful enough? Or have you seen too many beauties? No, you're very beautiful. Qin Yun said with a smile, among the beauties I've seen, you should be ranked in the top 10. You. Luo Yaofeng pouted coquettishly and said with a smile, Brother Yun, I really can't tell. You, who look so honest on the outside, have seen countless women. Sigh, I have been seen by countless women. It's very pitiful. Qin Yun said with a wry smile. To be honest, my nickname is Honest Qin. There's nothing I can do about it. Some girls like to bully honest people like me. Although Luo Yaofeng's body is wet, after releasing a wave of heat, she quickly dried her clothes. She came to Qin Yun's side and said with a smile, I never expected you to be like this. Brother Yun, what rank do I have in your heart? Well, you're ranked first. You're tied with many beauties I've seen. Qin Yun said, to be honest, all of you are about the same. Tied for first, and there are quite a few of them. Luo Yaofeng puffed up her cheeks and said with a charming smile, do you say the same thing to them? If I don't say that, I'll be beaten up. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, besides, the women who are fated to be acquainted with me, honest Qin, are all great beauties. It's just that each has their own beauty. Luo Yaofeng covered her mouth and laughed. Are you afraid that I'll hit you? To be honest, I've been in the God Desolate for so long, but I've never seen a decent beauty. Have they all been hidden by Brother Ah Yun? Qin Yun, who was looking outside, suddenly shouted, someone's coming. Who? Luo Yaofeng can't see. She can only look at Qin Yun's pair of flickering blue eyes and anxiously ask Qin Yun. It's the little demon king, Jiang Daliang and company. Qin Yun said, they are at the bottom of a sword mountain. They are also unable to enter that prairie. Have those seniors arrived? Luo Yaofeng took out her mask and put it on, preparing to go out. When they came in earlier, they took off their mask. Qin Yun also put on his mask and said, I haven't seen any seniors yet. I also saw a group of people from the Divine Sword race. The Divine Sword race has always occupied the Great Formation, but they can't completely control it. Otherwise, we would have been captured a long time ago. Luo Yaofeng is not worried about the Divine Sword race. Jiang Daliang, Little Demon King, and the others arrived in a grandiose manner. Some of them were riding huge beasts or sitting in very luxurious carriages. Sand and dust flew all the way. It was as if a huge dragon was charging angrily in the desert. After they stopped, they released their divine power to blow away the sand and dust around them. Then, they arrived at the barrier beside the prairie. Jiang Daliang looked at the lake in front of him and asked, Divine Sword Race, you have been in this formation for so long, are you still unable to break through the barrier and enter? Originally, it was almost done, but our clan emperor died. An old man sighed and said, it's all that 9 Yang Palace King's fault. If not for him, we would have completely controlled this formation long ago. Little Demon King frowned and said, 9 Yang Palace King? The one who killed the 9 Heavens Demon Emperor? This guy can twist off the 9 Heavens Demon Emperor's head. He is indeed very strong. Dai Jingji said, where is that 9 Yang Palace King? He won't come in, right? Jiang Daliang said with smile, how can he come in? As far as I know, he is holed up in his own 9 Yang Divine Palace, and my father once warned him to be more obedient. He is afraid of my father, so he still doesn't dare to come out. Because the distance is too far and there is a thick mountain wall between them, Qin Yun can't hear what they are saying. However, from the movement of their mouths, he can tell what they are saying. Jiang Jiuquan warned me? Did Jiang Jiuquan boast to his son? Or did that grandson Jiang Daliang make it up? Qin Yun felt that it was necessary to find Jiang Jiuquan to clarify this issue. The divine Yang race's young sacred god laughed and said, as expected of the clan king. Only he can suppress that 9 Yang Palace King. Ling Yiqian said, I heard that the 9 Yang Palace King has a complete Divine King heavenly seal. Is that true? It looks complete, but it is only a part of it. There is no seal spirit, no seal body, only a seal head. Jiang Daliang said with sneer. Moreover, that Divine King heavenly seal is the same as myriad heavens divine desolate, it is still growing, it can't cause any trouble. Hearing Jiang Daliang's words, everyone relaxed a lot. This guy speaks as if he is telling the truth. Qin Yun is very unhappy in his heart. He did not expect Jiang Daliang to be so good at making things up. Then why didn't your father snatch his Divine King heavenly seal? Ling Yiqian asked. Only he is questioning Jiang Jiuquan's strength. That guy can defeat the 9 Heavens Demon Emperor and a few other race emperors, as well as obtain the Heavenly Universe Divine Sunday. On top of that, he has Divine Moon Race's group of women behind him. That tramp divine martial judge also supports the 9 Yang Palace King, so my father can't take him down for now," Jiang Daliang said. Qin Yun's impression of Jiang Jiuquan is even worse. This made him even more determined to fight for the Third Universe Divine Sunday. At this time, a vast and mighty aura accompanied by a gale arrived, blowing up a large sandstorm. "Seniors are here." Jiang Daliang seems to be relieved, he said with smile. "Divine Sun Heavenly Earth did not arrive, now the seniors have arrived. Now we don't need to be afraid of Luo Yaofeng." The seniors who arrived are 9 heavens divine races elders, Jiang Jiuquan and other powerful races race emperors. After Jiang Jiuquan arrived, he saw Ling Yiqian's broken arm and said with frown, "I remember you are the son of South Heaven Emperor. How is your arm? Did you little demons have a conflict?" "It was broken by Divine King, Imperial Guard," Ling Yiqian promptly replied. "Divine King, Imperial Guard." These words caused Jiang Jiuquan and other 9 heavens divine races elders' expression to change. "As far as I know, Shadow God King has been missing for many years. His Divine King Imperial Guard has been killed, and not many of them are left." Jiang Jiuquan's expression became grave as he said, "Is that Divine King Imperial Guard following Princess Luo?" Jiang Daliang said anxiously, "Father, Princess Luo is very malicious. She slapped me and it was a poisonous slap. She is very strong, she has the Yushan seal head." "What? The Yushan seal head is in her hands?" An elder shouted in amazement. "This is impossible. Is Shadow God King crazy? He fell into such a dangerous situation and actually gave the Yushan seal head to a smelly girl?" "It's true," Little Demon King promptly replied. Chapter 2354. After learning that Luo Yaofeng was in possession of the Yushan seal, Jiang Jiuquan and some of the elders were shocked. Most of them had the same idea, which was to snatch the Yushan seal from Luo Yaofeng's hands. The Shadow God Monarch had given the Yushan sealed head to Luo Yaofeng, which meant that it would be difficult for him to make a comeback. In that case, Luo Yaofeng, who was stranded in the Gods Desolate, had no one to rely on. Hence, in their eyes, Luo Yaofeng was a young lady who was easy to deal with, a piece of meat that could be easily butchered. Now, the question they were considering was, who would get this piece of meat? This meant that they would fight to the death for this piece of meat. From their conversation, Qin Yun learned that Shadow God King had secretly handed the Yushan sealed head to Luo Yaofeng before he fell into dire straits. Later on, Luo Yaofeng came to the Gods Desolate and revealed that he had the Yushan seal. To be able to force the Shadow God King into a desperate situation, it was extremely likely done by the other 2 God Kings teaming up. Jiang Jiuquan said in a clear voice, "Everyone, Princess Luo has the Yushan sealed head, and it belongs to her. I, Jiang Jiuquan, have no interest in it. I hope that none of you have any ulterior motives for Princess Luo's Yushan imprint head. I also want to remind you that the Shadow God King's current situation is still unclear. Jiang Jiuquan, are you just going to sit back and watch? Are you going to intervene when we're badly battered?" An old man chuckled coldly. "Didn't you intervene when the Divine Moon Clan was about to be sacrificed to the heavens? After that, Elder Zhao and the 9 Heavens Demon Emperor were both killed. You benefited greatly. I didn't do anything." Jiang Jiuquan snorted. "I offended Palace King 9 Yang because of those bastards." At that moment Ling Yiqian said, "Clan leader, your son just said that you warned Palace King 9 Yang, and Palace King 9 Yang is very afraid of you. So what if you offended him?" Jiang Jiuquan glared at Jiang Daliang and said in a deep voice, "Warn the 9 Yang Palace King? You really have no idea how terrifying he is. I've never done such a thing. It's all Jiang Daliang's nonsense." Jiang Daliang lowered his head, not daring to look at his father. "In that case, is the Divine King Heaven seal in Palace King 9 Yang's hands complete?" Little Demon King asked. He was more concerned about this question. I'm not sure. All I know is that the heavenly seal in his hand is still very weak. It might be incomplete. Jiang Jiuchuan shook his head. Jiang Daliang said in a low voice, Father, what about Princess Luo? We have formed a grudge with her. She hates us so much that she will not let us go. Moreover, she also wants to fight for the divine Yang Heaven Land. Speaking of this matter, Jiang Jiuchuan was very angry. He cursed in a low voice, You idiot! Why did you start a feud with Princess Luo? Did she offend you first? She has a god king behind her. Is that someone you can provoke? She's of the same generation as me, and she also has the Yushan seal. Her strength is definitely not inferior to mine. Jiang clan leader, she's just a poor princess. What's there to worry about? With you seniors working together and this formation, can't you take her down? Little Demon King said disdainfully. After the seniors work together and capture Princess Luo, how will Yushan's head be divided? Wait until they fight to the death, and then let your 9 heavens demon tribes snatch Yushan's sealed head? Leng Yiqian sneered. He was very unhappy with the little demon king. After all, he had stolen 2 of his bedmates. This matter is not to be mentioned again. Quietly wait for the divine Yang Heaven Land to appear. Princess Luo's cultivation is not at the Tao God realm. It won't be a problem for her to snatch the divine Yang Heaven Land. Jiang Jiuchuan is still very cautious because he is not as arrogant and ignorant as the younger generation. He is also not as greedy and short-sighted as the older generation. He felt that there must be another reason why the Shadow God King gave the Yushan seal head to Princess Luo. Furthermore, the Shadow God King's situation in the 9 heavens is unknown. Qin Yun can also see that Jiang Jiuchuan is very scheming. He is a person who does great things. As long as he doesn't die, he will definitely become a legendary figure in the Divine Desolate. The Divine Yang Heaven Land has not appeared yet. Jiang Jiuchuan and the others can only watch from the side. Even they, the older generation, are unable to break the barrier of the grassland. Qin Yun, who is hiding in a sword mountain, told Luo Yao Feng about the situation outside and the conversations of those people. After Luo Yao Feng finished listening, his expression turned grave. Jiang Jiuchuan won't make a move, but those seniors might. Most of the old fellows from the 9 heavens are very evil. Don't look at how they look like humans now. When they eat people, they are like evil beasts. Youngsters like Dai Jingji and the little demon king look very normal and well-dressed. I didn't expect them to be man-eating evil demons. Qin Yun shook his head. I never wanted to see Jiang Jiuchuan because I was afraid that he would know that I have the Yushan seal head in my hands. Luo Yao Feng sighed and said, Now, he finally knows. Although he won't snatch it, people like him must be guarded against. Qin Yun and Luo Yao Feng are currently hiding in the Sword Mountain and waiting. Qin Yun continued to observe the older generation. Other than the middle-aged Jiang Jiuchuan, the other 10 or so are all old men. Their cultivation should be the same as Jiang Jiuchuan's. They are all Tao God realm. Those 10 or so old men have also just arrived from the 9 heavens. Previously, the nameless old man had told Qin Yun about this matter. Not long after, Qin Yun found out from their conversation that after the divine Yang heavenly earth descends, the central prairie's barrier will be opened. At that time, only sacred God realm people can enter. This is what Jiang Jiuchuan said. He found out about this through his communication with the Myriad Realms Divine Sunday. As long as it is a senior of the Myriad Realms Divine Sun, basically all of them know about this, so Jiang Jiuchuan can't hide it. The people who just came from the 9 heavens are mainly rushing towards the divine Yang heavenly earth. This is the heavenly earth where the Myriad Realms Divine Sun descends. In the future, it will continue to descend, but it will not be fixed at any place in the Divine Desolate. If you want to obtain it, you can only leave it to fate. This time, it will definitely descend at the center of the Sword Forest Mountain Desert. Moreover, it will be the best and the most abundant heavenly earth. Only one person can obtain it. Obtaining the heavenly earth will allow one to have the initiative to develop. Therefore, the older generation attaches great importance to this matter. At this moment, they are constantly exhorting their younger generation to go all out later. Father, Princess Luo has the Yushan seal head. Once she enters the prairie, won't she be invincible? How can we snatch it? Jiang Daliang said. This is also what the other youngsters are worried about. Don't worry, even if she snatches it, she won't be able to leave the prairie. A middle-aged man with a head full of silver hair said. He is from the 9 Heavens demon race. He is standing together with the little demon king. The other elders also have sinister sneers on their faces because they have decided that when the time comes, they will rely on their own ability to capture Luo Yaofeng. Jiang Jiuchuan said, Liang you don't need to worry about this matter. Not everyone can completely control the Yushan seal head. Princess Luo's cultivation is still shallow, she is still unable to fully unleash the might of the Yushan seal head. Really? Jiang Daliang felt a lot more at ease. Yes, I once used your grandfather's heavenly seal. After using it, all of my divine power was extracted. Jiang Jiuchuan said. Hearing his words, the other elders are incomparably envious. Being able to use a part of the Divine King heavenly seal is something they all yearn for very much. Even the little demon king is secretly envious of Jiang Jiuchuan. It is true that the little demon king is the son of the Divine King, but he has never even touched the part of his father's heavenly seal. After Qin Yun heard their conversation, he immediately told Luo Yaofeng. Princess, wait a moment, don't use the Yushan seal head. I can deal with them. Qin Yun held her hand and poured in 10 meridians divine power. After sensing the 10 meridians divine power, Luo Yaofeng's delicate body trembled, and she cried out in alarm. You are a 10-image person? You even broke the 10-image curse? Luo Yaofeng, who has never interacted with the outside world for many years, has never heard of the 9-Yang Palace King, so she doesn't know. Qin Yun nodded with a smile. Princess, please believe me. I will definitely defeat them. No wonder you are so powerful. Maybe even Jiang Jiuchuan is not your match. Luo Yaofeng only finds it hard to believe. She also knows that the 10-image curse is very difficult to break. When heavenly earth descends, I will charge in. You stay here and wait for my news. Qin Yun said. Brother A Yun, I want to follow you. Luo Yaofeng said. I want to fight alongside you. Although you are a 10-image person, those guys are not weak either. They must have all kinds of divine weapons and heavenly talismans given to them by their elders. Alright, then I'll bring you in. Qin Yun is also worried that if he leaves Luo Yaofeng behind and the Sword Mountain is destroyed, she might be injured. In the blink of an eye, 2 days passed. At noon, 1 ancestor divine sun and 2 small myriad realms divine sun in the sky emitted intense sunlight. Suddenly, 3 beams of light rushed out from the 3 myriad realms divine sun and converged together. They shot down from the sky and shot into the grassland at the center of the Sword Forest Desert and into the lake. The calm lake turned into a quagmire in the blink of an eye. The soil is bright and dazzling, releasing intense golden light. That is the divine Yang heavenly soil. After seeing this scene, Qin Yun is very shocked. Jiang Jiuchuan and the others are also the same. They cried out in alarm. Because there are many divine Yang heavenly soil, but only one person can obtain it. How can one person take away so many divine Yang heavenly soil? Ling Yiqian said in shock. Don't tell me that everyone has a share. Not necessarily. The soil in that lake is most likely a whole. Once it is taken away, it can be taken away in its entirety. An old man said. Soon after, A few Tao God Realm elders wanted to fly towards the grassland, but they were blocked by the barrier. The other dozens of juniors have already rushed into the grassland. They are at the sacred God Realm, so they easily entered. The fight for the divine Yang heavenly soil has begun. Qin Yun pulled Luo Yaofeng's hand. After passing through the Sword Mountain, he quickly rushed towards the grassland. There's someone? Is it Princess Luo? An old man with extremely strong perception immediately cried out in alarm. The other seniors reacted and looked towards Luo Yaofeng. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng are both wearing masks. The group of seniors only saw them for a moment, and before they could even go over, they saw them rush through the barrier and enter the grassland. Princess Luo has gone in. An old man shouted, "You must be careful." Ling Yiqian did not go in because he only has one arm. He did not pay attention to Luo Yaofeng. Instead, he stared intently at Qin Yun, who is beside Luo Yaofeng. In his eyes, Qin Yun is much more terrifying than Luo Yaofeng. Liang don't make enemies with Princess Luo. Jiang Jiuchuan immediately shouted. He had warned Jiang Daliang several times before. Chapter 23:55. Qin Yun also wanted to snatch the divine Yang heavenly soil, but the little demon king and a few young sacred deities have already arrived. Jiang Daliang originally wanted to go over, but because his father is watching from outside, he did not dare to act recklessly. As for the few sacred deities led by Jiang Daliang, they did not make a move. Their main goal is to assist Jiang Daliang in taking down the heavenly soil. Little Demon King, ignore them for now, the silver-haired middle-aged man outside the grassland shouted. The little Demon King originally wanted to go over, but after thinking about it carefully, if he were to fight with Luo Yaofeng and company, then the one rushing over to take down the heavenly soil would be Jiang Daliang or someone else. He cannot give up this opportunity to others. The divine Yang heavenly soil is very important. The young sacred deities that entered the grassland are all rushing towards the golden quagmire in the middle. The fastest was the little Demon King. After all, he was the son of the God King. Next were Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. And behind him, Jiang Daliang, the other young sacred deities and the son of the North Sky Emperor are gnashing their teeth as they look at the people in front of them. If the ones who obtained the divine Yang heavenly soil were not them, they would definitely be very jealous. Don't even think about obtaining the divine Yang heavenly soil so easily, someone suddenly shouted and threw out a talisman. After the talisman was thrown to the front and exploded, a golden energy wave surged. Surging flames roared like a dragon. Heavenly runes formed from lightning are like a huge net in the sky, accompanied by flames that press down. This is a heavenly talisman. Which damned bastard threw it? Quickly stand up, I promise I won't beat you to death. Little Demon King cursed angrily. Quickly stand up, I promise I won't beat you to death. Luo Yaofeng's body suddenly rippled with blue light. Strong waves of divine power surged out, instantly forming a violent tornado. Several huge tornadoes instantly formed and roared as they spun on the spot, wrapping around the flames and lightning that surged out from his innate talent. As for the other young sacred deities, when they approached the gigantic tornado, their bodies were involuntarily swept up. Boom boom boom, Jiang Daliang and company promptly shot out the heavenly talisman. The heavenly talisman contains a very strong divine power and it is mainly refined from heavenly runes. It is very powerful. The heavenly talisman exploded and trembled unceasingly. The tornado that Luo Yaofeng released was torn apart in an instant, turning into a tyrannical air current that flooded the grassland. They did not allow anyone else to get close to the golden quagmire. In the process of flying, it was not convenient for them to use their divine power, so they could only throw the talismans in their hands. Each of them had 2 or 3 heavenly talismans in their hands. Dozens of people threw out dozens of heavenly talismans one after another, causing the grassland to be enveloped by violent divine power. The trembling sounds were endless, and the aura was vast. Even so, the seniors outside could see the little demon king, Luo Yaofeng, Qin Yun, and Jiang Daliang leading the charge. "Don't let them enter the quagmire," Jiang Daliang shouted. He had quite a few underlings, all of them geniuses from powerful races. They also had heavenly talismans, but not many, only 2 left. After hearing Jiang Daliang's shout, they all threw out the heavenly talismans in their hands. More than 10 heavenly talismans shot out, enveloping Qin Yun, Luo Yaofeng and the little demon king. The little demon king kept cursing in his heart. Although he knew that there would be conflict during the fight for the divine Yang Skyland, he was still very angry. The little demon king didn't have many helpers. He only had Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao. However, these 2 women were just there to watch the show. They were very backward at the beginning. When he turned around, he couldn't see them at all. Boom, boom, boom. Another series of tremors and explosions enveloped Qin Yun and the others from all directions. Not only Jiang Daliang's underlings threw out the heavenly talismans, the other people who were lagging behind also threw out the heavenly talismans in their hands. Therefore, Jiang Daliang is currently unable to move forward due to the ferocious explosion. Qin Yun released a body-protecting dragon aura barrier and heavenly might tyrant body barrier. Luo Yaofeng also has a wind god barrier protecting him. They were only forced to stop, but they were not injured. It has to be said that the power of those heavenly talismans is very great. Even the space around them began to fluctuate from the explosion. The little demon king and Jiang Daliang's defenses are very strong, so they can withstand it. Now, they are only a few hundred meters away from the quagmire. Not long after they charged into the grassland, more than 100 heavenly talismans exploded. The seniors outside also felt their hearts palpitate when they saw this. Those heavenly talismans are very difficult to refine. Using so many of them in one go still made their hearts ache. Because there weren't many of them, Jiang Daliang and company only had 2 or 3 in their hands. After Qin Yun entered, he originally wanted to use the void step to travel through space. However, inside this barrier, the spatial walls are too strong. If he wanted to break through, it would definitely consume a lot of energy. Furthermore, he would need time to accumulate energy. Therefore, he could only use the normal method to rush over. The explosion quickly passed, and the people behind approached Qin Yun and company. "We made it!" Someone laughed maniacally from behind. Just as he was about to rush over, a blue crystal spike shot out by the little demon king pierced through his chest. Although that person did not die, he was severely injured. "You are not worthy of the divine Yang heavenly soil." After the little demon king finished speaking, he flew over. A chaotic battle also broke out behind him. Even Jiang Daliang and company were surrounded and attacked by more than 10 people. The little demon king was attacked by the son of the North Sky Emperor who had caught up. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng were surrounded by more than 20 young sacred gods. Just as Luo Yaofeng was about to use her poison dagger to attack, Qin Yun hurriedly grabbed her wrist and released a strong shield to block the attacks from all directions. "Princess, you can't kill people," Qin Yun said with voice transmission. "I just paid attention. Whether it is the little demon king or the others, they are all very cautious and don't dare to take anyone's life. Qin Yun can tell that it is not because their relationship is good that they are showing mercy. People like the little demon king and Jiang Daliang will not show mercy at all. There is only one reason why they did not kill people. Perhaps this is a test. If they killed people, they would not be able to obtain the divine Yang heavenly soil or would be severely punished." Luo Yaofeng paid attention and realized that the little demon king is very cautious when he attacked. Jiang Daliang is the same. He did not kill them, so it is difficult for them to escape in a short period of time. They clearly know the rules of the divine yang heavenly soil competition. Family King, did you see that divine king guard? His strength is not bad. An old man said in a deep voice. That's right, the divine power he released can actually block the siege of more than 20 people. Jiang Jiuchuan said with a frown. This person can become a divine king guard. He is indeed not simple. The barrier that Qin Yun released was instantly condensed using inscription battle technique. It is like a black tortoise that enveloped him and Luo Yaofeng's surroundings. This is a black tortoise great formation formed through the black tortoise totem. The runes are all dark runes, that's why they can't be seen. That's why they can only see a translucent blue-colored ball of divine power. Brother A Yun, what do we do now? I'll listen to you. Luo Yaofeng looked at the fierce and fiendish attacks of more than 20 people and asked in a deep voice. Use the strongest wind to scatter them. It would be best if you can blow them far away. Qin Yun said. All right. Luo Yaofeng promptly gathered her power. After the divine power condensed in her body is strong enough, she spread her arms and gently stroked with her lily-white hands. Immediately, a violent wind roared. The violent wind violently surged in all directions. The more than 20 people who are frantically attacking were blown away by dozens of meters in an instant. After they were blown away, Qin Yun immediately accurately released more than 20 supergravity forces that pressed down on their bodies. It is as if he was smashing nails, smashing them deep into the ground. This scene caused the group of elders outside to cry out in alarm. What happened? How did those 20 youngsters get smashed into the ground all of a sudden? What the hell is going on? Qin Yun's supergravity is very strange. Not to mention the people outside, even the young sacred god who was hit just now only felt his body suddenly become very heavy. After landing on the ground, he couldn't help but sink into the grass. Qin Yun waved his hands and 2 blue light ribbons flowed out. The blue light ribbons are curved like mysterious runes. It's runes. Jiang Jiuchuan's pupils shrank. It's a very complicated rune. Could it be a heavenly law divine rune? Although it looks like Qin Yun released 2 blue light ribbons condensed from divine power, they are actually light ribbons formed from countless minute runes. These 2 light ribbons were controlled by Qin Yun and shot into the ground, connecting those 20-plus young sacred gods. He directly used those 20-plus young sacred gods to set up a formation and extracted the energy within their bodies to form a great formation. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng are currently inside the great formation. Quickly stop Luo Yaofeng. The 9 Heavens demon race, silver-haired middle-aged man shouted in alarm. Little Demon King, Jiang Daliang and the other young sacred gods are now rushing towards Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. Don't go over. Jiang Jiuchuan suddenly discovered something and shouted loudly, but it is already too late. Little Demon King, Jiang Daliang and the others all rushed over and entered the great formation set up by humans. Qin Yun promptly brought Luo Yaofeng and soared into the sky, jumped out and activated the great formation. In just a short while, Little Demon King, Jiang Daliang and the others have been trapped inside the formation set up by Qin Yun. Everyone present is incomparably shocked. Even Luo Yaofeng is dumbfounded. She also doesn't know when Qin Yun set up such a powerful great formation that can seal Little Demon King, Jiang Daliang and dozens of others. Damn it, why is there a great formation here? Dai Jingji shouted loudly, using the sword in her hand to frantically hack at the energy wall. Motherfucker! Jiang Daliang also cursed angrily. The God King guards beside Princess Luo used the bodies of more than 20 young sacred gods as pillars to set up a great sealing formation. Jiang Jiuchuan let out a long sigh and said, "We are not fated with the divine Yang heavenly land." The other elders also recalled that the blue ribbons of light that overflowed from Qin Yun's hands were very complicated runes. It was those two ribbons of light that shot into the ground and connected the bodies of the 20 young sacred gods together. Ling Yiqian gritted his teeth as he looked at Qin Yun. He knew that Qin Yun is very strong, but he is still shocked. He never expected Qin Yun to be such a powerful inscription Do master. Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng arrived beside the quagmire. After Qin Yun touched the quagmire's golden clay with his hand, the quagmire suddenly churned and the golden clay quickly shrank and gathered together. Chapter 2356. The Divine Yang Heavenly Soil's true form is actually like this. This is something that many people did not expect. A Divine Yang Heavenly Soil with form means that it is even more special. The people who came to snatch the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil all have a certain level of understanding towards it. However, they have never heard of it having form. The group of young people who had been sealed were all cursing at Luo Yaofeng at this moment. The golden lotus formed by the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil is simply too rare. The eyes of the elders outside are burning with passion. If they could enter that barrier, they would definitely rush in immediately. And their juniors are currently on the prairie, sealed by Qin Yun's formation. They are unable to leave the formation. Regardless of whether it is the elders outside or the juniors inside the prairie, they can only watch anxiously and let out all kinds of strange cries and curses. Qin Yun flew over and arrived beside the golden lotus. He discovered that there is a very powerful divine power preventing him from approaching the golden lotus. At this moment, Qin Yun felt as if he was being blown away by a gust of wind while flying over. Then, his body could not help but be blown far away. When Qin Yun landed on the shore, he could not even stand stably. "Brother A Yun, what's wrong?" Luo Yaofeng hastily went over and supported Qin Yun's body. He sensed a layer of intense light lingering on the surface of Qin Yun's clothes and exclaimed, "What kind of divine power is this? It's so hot." The intense light surrounding Qin Yun's body is released by the golden lotus. "I'm fine." Qin Yun also finds it inconceivable because the light released by the golden lotus is very strong and scorching hot. Furthermore, after sensing his approach, a berserk energy wave surged out. That is the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil's self-defense. "You are not worthy of the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil. You should quickly scram. The Divine Yang Heavenly Soil is not yours," someone shouted. Qin Yun had to quickly retrieve the golden lotus because the array he had just set up would not be able to last for too long. Once that group of people broke out of the array, they would not be able to escape. It will be very troublesome. Before obtaining the golden lotus, it is impossible to kill anyone. Otherwise, they would have already started killing each other. "I'll go over and take a look." Luo Yaofeng's body lightly floated up and flew towards the center of the lake. When she went over, the golden lotus suddenly flashed with multicolored light. Just like Qin Yun, she was also sent flying by a very powerful divine power and landed on the shore. Seeing that the two of them are unable to obtain the golden lotus, the others let out a burst of laughter. They cursed Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng while frantically attacking the formation. They were in despair a moment ago, but when they saw that Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng were unable to approach the golden lotus, they immediately saw hope. As long as they broke through the array and left, they would still have a chance of obtaining the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil. "Divine Yang Heavenly Soil is resisting us," Qin Yun said to Luo Yaofeng in low voice. "There must be a crucial step in obtaining Divine Yang Heavenly Soil." Qin Yun had suddenly realized that he was not allowed to kill when he entered the grassland. The seniors knew this, but they did not say it out loud. They knew that they could. "Qin Qin Yang Heaven Earth Earth." But they did not say anything. Qin Yun turned around and glanced at the seniors. Seeing that they had become relatively calm, he roughly knew that obtaining the Divine Yang Heavenly Soil required a secret technique. As for that secret formula, it was something that even the seniors found unreliable in the beginning. Now that they saw that Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng were unable to approach the golden lotus, they began to believe it. "Let's try dripping blood," Luo Yaofeng whispered. Qin Yun nodded and flew over again, releasing a large ball of blue heavenly blood. Seeing that he has such a dark-colored heavenly blood, everyone is alarmed, especially the elders of the 9 heavens divine race. Because they have always cultivated powerful heavenly blood, but none of them are as strong as a sacred god. After Qin Yun went over, he sent the ball of heavenly blood over. Strangely, the heavenly blood was absorbed by the golden lotus, but Qin Yun was still repelled. "I'll do it." Luo Yaofeng also released a ball of dark blue heavenly blood. It looks as strong as Qin Yun, but the others did not find it strange. Because with Luo Yaofeng's background, it is very normal for him to cultivate this level of heavenly blood at such a young age. And Luo Yaofeng is the same as Qin Yun. Her heavenly blood was absorbed by the golden lotus, but she was also sent flying. Everyone was only shocked by the strength of their heavenly blood, but they were not worried that they could take away the golden lotus. Qin Yun is even more certain that there must be a secret to obtaining the divine yang heavenly soil. It is impossible for the group of seniors to tell them, and the group of juniors are also doing their best to break the formation. With many of them joining hands, they will definitely be able to break the formation very quickly. Great, they can't obtain the divine yang heavenly soil, they still have a chance. Little Demon King laughed excitedly. Not only do I want to obtain the divine yang heavenly soil, I also want to obtain Yushan's sealed head. Everyone can see that Little Demon King is very confident. It is obvious that he still has a backup plan. Jiang Jiuchuan only watched calmly. Seeing how calm and composed he is, the other elders are somewhat worried. Because it is very clear that Jiang Daliang has something powerful in his hands. "Brother A Yun, we have to act quickly or else they will come out." Luo Yaofeng is very anxious. The divine yang heavenly soil is right in front of them, but they are unable to obtain it. Qin Yun recalled that his and Luo Yaofeng's heavenly blood was absorbed and suddenly thought of something. He thought in his heart, this divine yang heavenly soil was created by the myriad realms divine sun. The divine yang heavenly soil originally belonged to earth. Adding the power of the divine sun, it became earth and fire. Earth subdued water, so it absorbed the heavenly blood which is like water. And water could have subdued fire, but it was absorbed by earth. In other words, if I want to suppress the divine yang heavenly soil of earth and fire, I need to subdue earth and fire. After Qin Yun thought of this point, he immediately began experimenting. He circulated the divine tree totem's power and released a large number of tree vines that charged towards the golden lotus. After rushing over, Qin Yun immediately felt that something is amiss and immediately retracted his vines. This divine yang heavenly soil is of the 5 elements. I can't control it. Qin Yun is even more excited. The golden lotus has the metal attribute inside, and the lotus belongs to the wood attribute. It grows in water and is also water. In other words, Qin Yun's previous train of thought is not feasible. Although it won't work, Qin Yun is very happy because this means that the divine yang heavenly soil is very strong. "Xiao Yun, try using the Imperial Heaven Divine Art," Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun rushed over once again and used the Imperial Heaven Divine power to forcefully charge in. However, he was still repelled by a very strong divine power. Even the Imperial Heaven Divine power is useless. It's not that the Imperial Heaven Divine power is not good, it's just that my Imperial Heaven Divine power is too weak. This divine yang heavenly soil can be subdued with Imperial Heaven Divine power. Qin Yun could sense that the Imperial Heaven Divine power has a certain effect. Heaven locking chain. Qin Yun suddenly thought of this thing. Divine yang heavenly soil has the word heaven in it. It is definitely related to the heavens. Furthermore, this is a powerful heavenly item that has taken form. Therefore, Qin Yun's current Imperial Heaven Divine Power is unable to suppress it. The Heaven Locking Chain is also a divine tool that has taken form. When combined with Qin Yun's Imperial Heaven Divine Power, its might will be even stronger. It's useless, don't try. Just scram obediently. Dai Jingji said with a charming smile. The divine yang heavenly soil doesn't belong to you. Qin Yun took out the blue chain and once again flew above the lake. When he approached, he immediately threw the chain out. The slowly spinning golden lotus suddenly shook and burst out with a ball of intense light, wanting to shake the heaven-locking chain away. Qin Yun injected powerful Imperial Heaven Divine Power into the heaven-locking chain. In an instant, the heaven-locking chain became even more powerful and charged straight at the golden lotus. This scene caused Jiang Daliang and the little demon king to shout loudly. The seniors outside were also in an uproar. The heaven-locking chain trembled. After Qin Yun infused it with powerful Imperial Heaven Divine Power, it went straight for the Golden Lotus defense and tightly bound it. Come here. Qin Yun vigorously pulled and retrieved the heaven-locking chain. The Golden Lotus is still bound by the heaven-locking chain. Then, Qin Yun placed it into the first pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Soul and sealed it with the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron. It's done. Brother Yun, you are so awesome. Luo Yaofeng is as happy as a young girl, she said with a charming smile. You two damned bastards! Little Demon King shouted angrily. Now that Qin Yun has taken away the divine yang heavenly soil, it means that he can now deal a heavy blow. Previously, because he couldn't kill people, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to take away the divine yang heavenly soil. Therefore, Qin Yun was very careful when he attacked. He only used the people as nails and then used them to set up the formation. Now, he doesn't have to worry about this anymore. Luo Yaofeng is the same. Her heart has become more ruthless. She can feel her ruthlessness. Go to hell, you bastard! Little Demon King was the first to rush out of the formation and roared. The divine yang heavenly soil is mine, the Yushan sealed head is also mine. Little Demon King has a divine king father, so he has lived under his father's protection for many years. Naturally, many people say that he is a bastard who relies on his father. This made him very unhappy, but he can't not admit it. And right now, there is a chance for him to obtain the Yushan sealed head. This is a divine object that can allow one to become a divine king in the nine heavens. If he can obtain it, then he can become a divine king in the future and stand on equal footing with his father, the heavenly demon divine king. Just thinking about it makes him very excited. Therefore, he very much wants to obtain the Yushan sealed head. Liang you absolutely cannot attack. Jiang Jiuchuan saw that Qin Yun's sealing formation has been broken and hastily shouted. At the same time, other older generation also tried, but they still can't pass through the barrier and enter the grassland. Jiang Daliang can sense the majesty of his father's stern shout. He can only endure. Of course he wants to attack. He also has a trump card in his hand. After all, he is the eldest grandson of the divine king. Princess, let me do it. Qin Yun stood in front of Luo Yaofeng and punched at the incoming little demon king. Violent heavenly might Dao astral chi roared out. In that instant, little demon king felt a vast heavenly might that could directly obliterate him. At this moment, little demon king finally realized how strong the divine king guard in front of him is. He finally understood Ling Yiqian's worries. That punch gave little demon king the feeling that the sky suddenly split open and a huge fist smashed into the ground, wanting to pierce through the earth. Boom! After the punch passed, a silver talisman appeared on little demon king's body. A sinister evil demon head appeared on the talisman and blocked Qin Yun's punch. Chapter 2357. Upon seeing the heavenly Fey protection talisman, the seniors were shocked and puzzled. This was because the Heavenly Fey Protection Talisman was a very precious heavenly talisman. Typically, it was used to protect one's life. Only the sons of Heavenly Fey Divine Kings had such talismans. Sometimes, even if their arms were about to be severed, they would not use such a heavenly talisman. They would only use it when they faced a life-and-death situation. In other words, the little demon king had nearly been killed. They were not little demon kings, so they naturally could not understand the danger the little demon king was facing. Only the little demon king knew how terrifying Qin Yun's punch was. If he had not used the heavenly talisman in time, he would have been killed by Qin Yun. Qin Yun's strength was unfathomable. Only by personally experiencing Qin Yun's terrifying divine power could one understand the deep fear. Qin Yun punched out and landed on the Heaven Fey Body Protection Talisman. He was repelled by the evil demon's head with a powerful divine power, causing his fist to turn red and swollen. His entire arm swelled up from the impact. If not for his powerful heavenly body, the Heavenly Fey Protection Talisman's rebound force would have torn off his arm or even injured his body. Although Qin Yun's arm did not split open, he still felt great pain. Furthermore, his body had been struck by the Heavenly Fey divine power. The divine power in his body instantly turned chaotic as it surged up and down his body. Brother Ah Yun. A small blue mountain appeared in Luo Yaofeng's hand. It was the Yushan insignia head. Upon seeing the Yushan insignia head, the seniors outside widened their eyes as they stared at the Yushan insignia head in Luo Yaofeng's hand. It looks like it's true. The Yushan insignia head is really in that last Luo Yaofeng's hands. The silver-haired middle-aged man from the Nine Heavens demon race's eyes were filled with greed when he saw the Yushan insignia head. Jiang Jiuquan's expression was cold. No one knew what he was thinking. The seniors beside him believed that Jiang Jiuquan was the same as them. He wanted the Yushan insignia head for himself. Luo Yaofeng came to Qin Yun's side and held his hand. She whispered, "It's the power of a Heavenly Fey Divine King. That talisman was refined by a Heavenly Fey Divine King over 1,000 years. It contains a very powerful Heavenly Fey Divine King power." As she spoke, she hurriedly circulated her powers and sucked out the Heaven Demon Godly Monarch powers from Qin Yun's arm. "Princess, will you be all right?" Qin Yun knew that the Heaven Demon Godly Monarch's power was very powerful, so he was very worried for Luo Yaofeng. Luo Yaofeng shook his head and said, "Don't worry, I once cultivated a technique to deal with the power of a heavenly demon deity king. This must have been imparted to her by the Shadow God King." Qin Yun felt a lot more at ease now. He looked at the group of people who were about to charge over. Jiang Daliang clenched his fists tightly as he gnashed his teeth at Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. At this moment, everyone could tell that although Luo Yaofeng was a princess, her relationship with the God King's imperial bodyguard was not ordinary. Since even the small demon kings were forced to retreat, the others naturally didn't dare to attack. Jiang Daliang wanted to make a move, but his father, Jiang Jiuquan, wouldn't allow him to make a move. On the other hand, Jiang Daliang really wanted to attack, because Yushan's sealed head was right in front of him. If everything went smoothly, not only would he obtain Yushan's sealed head, he would also be able to capture Princess Luo and force Qin Yun to hand over the divine Yang heavenly soil that had transformed into a golden lotus. However, his father, Jiang Jiuquan, was looking at him from behind with an incomparably stern gaze, paying attention to his every move. This was also the reason why Jiang Daliang wanted to attack even more. "Father must be worried that I won't succeed and will lose my life. As long as I succeed, Father definitely won't say anything." This was what Jiang Daliang was thinking. Jiang Daliang was also very rebellious, especially since he had been injured by Luo Yaofeng previously. In addition, his father didn't dare to attack Luo Yaofeng and was cowering. This made him want to attack even more. If he could capture Luo Yaofeng and obtain Yushan's sealed head, then he, Jiang Daliang, would also become a god king in the future. Furthermore, he would be able to hold his head high and prove himself to his father. The more Jiang Daliang thought about it, the more excited he became. It was as if he had succeeded. People who took risks would fantasize about the excitement and thrill of success, so they would not consider the risk. In addition, they were more arrogant, so they would often risk everything to take risks. Attack! Jiang Daliang suddenly shouted. His sacred god lackeys immediately took action and attacked Luo Yaofeng. Luo Yaofeng let out a delicate shout and immediately stepped forward. She sent a palm strike at the few people who were rushing over, creating a very strong palm wind. Jiang Daliang, are you crazy? Jiang Jiuchuan roared in anger. Those few sacred gods are quite strong, and they are all from powerful races. The weapons and defensive equipment in their hands are all very strong. They broke through the gale created by Luo Yaofeng and closed in on him. Jiang Daliang suddenly moved just now. After he approached Qin Yun, he threw out a large unknown object. It brought with it a very strong multicolored light. Like a ghost, it enveloped Qin Yun in an instant. Seeing this scene, the little demon king and the other young sacred gods immediately distanced themselves from the lake. However, they did not go out. Qin Yun seems to have been sealed by something. Upon closer inspection, there are 7 bloody hearts half a meter away from Qin Yun. They are releasing bright red light and slowly revolving around Qin Yun. Apart from them, there are also 9 crystal heads emitting blood energy. They are also slowly revolving around Qin Yun. The crystal heads opened their mouths and a very strong energy surged out from inside. They shot out a white multicolored light that rushed towards Qin Yun's head. Jiang Daliang's sudden attack caught Qin Yun off guard. Actually, the main reason is that these things are too strange. Not only are they very fast, they also have very strong spirituality. Qin Yun is sealed by the formation and is unable to move. His head was accurately hit and he immediately screamed in pain. Jiang Daliang, quickly stop! Jiang Jiuchuan shouted angrily again. When the little demon king saw this, he said in fear, "It's the 7-core 9 heads formation. Divine King Jiang Xian has refined a world-shaking absolute formation." When the others heard this, they all cried out in fear. It is as if they were trembling in fear. From this, it can be seen how terrifying the 7-core 9 heads formation is. Divine King Jiang Xian is Jiang Jiuchuan's father. Father, I will definitely succeed. You have no ambition and don't dare to snatch that slut's Yushan seal head. Then I will snatch it for you to see. Just you wait, I will be like grandfather, I will become a powerful divine king. Jiang Daliang laughed maniacally. Qin Yun suffered the energy attack from the 9 heads. The 7 hearts stored a very terrifying divine power. After being transformed by the 9 heads, they became even more powerful. Luo Yaofeng is not inside the 7-core 9 heads formation. Instead, he is fighting with the young sacred gods outside. Hearing that it is the 7-core 9 heads formation, Luo Yaofeng suddenly felt a heartache. He is also extremely furious. A very strong ruthless energy surged out from his body. "Brother A Yun, hold on, I'll save you right away," Luo Yaofeng shouted. She did not use the Yushan seal head because the situation is very critical. If she uses the Yushan seal head and is unable to take down Jiang Daliang, then she and Qin Yun will be finished. The Yushan seal head is her only hope. Once she uses it, her divine power will be drained and she will need Qin Yun's help to recover. Luo Yaofeng is fighting with Jiang Daliang and the young sacred gods of the powerful races. Qin Yun was attacked by the 7 hearts 9 heads formation. The 7 hearts 9 heads formation is refined using the hearts of 7 Dao God Stage S and the heads of 9 Dao God Stage S. There is also the power of the divine King Jiang Xian's soul seal inside. It is a killing formation that mainly attacks the soul. The little demon king's expression was solemn. Once this formation is activated, the people trapped in it, even if they are at the Tao God realm, will eventually die. He will be tortured until his soul scatters and he dies. After hearing the little demon king's description, he knew how terrifying this formation was. This 7 hearts 9 heads formation was something that many people in the 9 heavens feared. Jiang Clan King, Divine King Jiang Xian handed this kind of absolute formation to Jiang Daliang. You should have let him take action earlier. An old man said, "Congratulations, your Jiang family has another Divine King. Clan King, we have offended you in the past. Please forgive us." Another middle-aged man cupped his hands and said, "Congratulations, Clan King." Many elders of the 9 heavens celestial race congratulated Jiang Zhouchuan. However, Jiang Zhouchuan's expression is very unsightly because he did not think that Jiang Daliang would be able to succeed. Instead, he thought that Jiang Daliang would suffer Luo Yaofeng's revenge. At this moment, Luo Yaofeng is fighting with her life on the line. Her aura is terrifying to the extreme. Although the Yushan seal head in her hand has not been activated yet, it still has a threatening aura. The poison dagger in her other hand fiercely hacked at those people. Jiang Daliang and the others have been attacking for a long time without success. What surprised Jiang Daliang is that Qin Yun is still alive and has not been killed by the 7 hearts 9 heads formation. The 7 hearts 9 heads formation is an absolute killing formation. Even if a Tao god was trapped inside, they wouldn't be able to live for long. They would be tortured to death. All of you must die. Luo Yaofeng was worried that Qin Yun wouldn't be able to hold on and shouted angrily. The Yushan seal head in her hand suddenly surged with a glaring blue light. She finally activated the Yushan seal head. Whoosh! A powerful light surged out from the Yushan seal head and let out a terrifying whistling sound. Powerful divine power surged out like water ripples. Jiang Daliang, who was fighting with Luo Yaofeng, also took out a heavenly talisman and laughed loudly. I was waiting for this moment. The heavenly talisman he took out was shaped like a person. It was actually refined from a piece of human skin. Taoist heavenly talisman. Someone said in shock. This is also the work of Divine King Jiang Xian. Using human hearts to refine a great formation and human skin to make a heavenly talisman was a very common thing in the 9 heavens. The power of the Yushan seal head enveloped the entire grassland. The other young sacred gods all released their strongest divine power and used powerful heavenly talismans to block it. Even so, there were many young sacred gods present. Their bodies split open from the impact of the Yushan seal head's power. They fell to the ground with serious injuries and screamed in pain. Only the little demon king and a few people with rich foundations were able to stand. What allowed the little demon king to block that power was a puppet wearing a blue crystal armor. It wore a helmet and its face could not be seen. Chapter 23:58. As expected, Luo Yaofeng was unable to control the Yushan head of seals. She could only make the Yushan head of seals release a powerful burst of divine power. This did not allow the Yushan seal to continue releasing powerful divine power. The divine power of the Wave Yushan imprint that she had just released was blocked by the little goblin king and Jiang Daliang. Its power was indeed terrifying. It caused those young divine gods to be heavily injured. Their armors were torn, and their bodies were heavily injured. On the other hand, the puppet released by the little demon king was not damaged at all after blocking the divine power. Although Jiang Daliang's human skin heavenly talisman was able to block the attack, it was damaged and could not be used anymore. He looked at the little demon king and envied the little demon king's strong blue-armored puppet. No matter how he looked at it, the puppet was extremely powerful. In particular, the presence of a god king shocked Jiang Daliang the most. Jiang Daliang suspected that the puppet might have been given to the little demon king by the sky demon god king. Jiang Jiuchuan once again bellowed, "Jiang Daliang, get your ass out here right now!" "Father, I'm about to succeed." Jiang Daliang sneered as he looked at Luo Yaofeng. Luo Yaofeng's Yushan seal had already shrunk. After unleashing that burst of divine power, most of the divine power in her body had been drained. It was also because she was wearing a mask that he couldn't see her face. Otherwise, he could see that her face was as pale as paper. As for Qin Yun, he was sealed by the 7 hearts 9 heads formation. He was still screaming in pain. The little demon king, Dai Jingji, and He Hongjiao stood behind the mysterious blue-armored puppet and observed the situation. The seniors outside all wanted to know if Jiang Daliang could obtain the Yushan seal. The Yushan seal was a part of the Divine King's heavenly seal, and the divine power that it had just unleashed was powerful enough. If it weren't for the fact that the little demon king and Jiang Daliang had the protective talismans and puppets that the Divine King had given them, they wouldn't have been able to block it. Those who did not manage to block the attack were all lying on the ground, glaring angrily at Luo Yaofeng. "Big Brother Yun, I'm sorry I didn't protect you well," Luo Yaofeng said in her heart. She blamed herself and felt sad. She had already used the Yushan seal, but she was still unable to repel the little demon king and Jiang Daliang. The 7 hearts 9 heads formation is Divine King Jiang Xian's proud work. Not to mention Saint God Realm Fellows, even Dao God Realm Old Fellows would be killed by it. That godly monarch guard is dead for sure. Jiang Daliang should be able to smoothly obtain Yushan's sealed head. The seniors sighed with emotion before hurriedly congratulating Jiang Jiuchuan, who had an ugly expression on his face. Jiang Jiuchuan clenched his fists as he stared at the puppet in front of the little demon king. A hint of fear could be seen in his contracted pupils. It was obvious that he was afraid of that puppet. After the little demon king released the puppet, he became much more confident. The others only thought that it was the little demon king's protective puppet, so they didn't pay much attention to it. Only Jiang Jiuchuan knew how terrifying that puppet was. He had never expected that the little demon king would have such a puppet. Jiang Daliang didn't know if Luo Yaofeng could still attack, and little demon king wasn't sure either, so they weren't in a hurry to attack. They weren't worried because in their eyes, Qin Yun, who was trapped in the 7 hearts 9 heads formation, was already dead. Luo Yaofeng was currently very weak and she had to stand. If others saw that she was weak, then little demon king and Jiang Daliang might attack without any qualms. As long as she could stand still and rely on the Yushan sealed head in her hand to intimidate them, Jiang Daliang wouldn't dare to attack immediately. After all, it was the Yushan sealed head. Jiang Daliang and little demon king were extremely vigilant and didn't dare to underestimate it. If one of them went over first and was injured by Luo Yaofeng's Yushan sealed head, it would be a great loss. When Luo Yaofeng saw the situation on the field, she suddenly saw hope. She knew that Qin Yun was a person with 10 images. Now that he was sealed by the 7 hearts 9 heads formation, it was difficult for him to hold on for such a long time. It could be seen that he wouldn't be killed that easily. To be able to break the curse of 10 images and become a sacred god, one had to cultivate a powerful heavenly body and possess a powerful soul. The 7 hearts 9 heads formation mainly attacked the soul. Qin Yun's soul was strong enough, so he was able to withstand it. To Qin Yun, the 7 hearts 9 heads formation was indeed very strong. It had caused great damage to his soul. However, this was mainly because he didn't know enough about this kind of killing formation. Furthermore, the 7 hearts 9 heads formation was something that the God King had spent a very long time to refine, so it was naturally very powerful. With Qin Yun's current cultivation, it was normal for him to not be able to defend against it for a while. But now, he was gradually beginning to defend against the 7 hearts 9 heads formation's attacks. One had to know that Qin Yun wasn't even afraid of the powerful heavenly seal god restriction, much less the 7 hearts 9 heads formation refined by a mere god king. After the intense pain in his soul, Qin Yun gradually woke up and began to defend against the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation's attack. Then, he opened a sacred tribulation gate in his body and the divine moon came out. The moment the divine moon came out, it immediately channeled a powerful mental power to Qin Yun. Together with Qin Yun's nether moon, the power of the two moons combined and immediately formed a powerful defense. Furthermore, it devoured the mental power that the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation attacked. At this moment it was all Qin Yun. He was only sealed by the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation. He had already regained consciousness. After regaining consciousness, Qin Yun sensed that Luo Yaofeng is very weak. She tightly held the small blue mountain and stood straight in front of Jiang Daliang. Luo Yaofeng, it seems like that attack just now has already drained all the divine power in your body. You should be very weak now. You are just bluffing, Jiang Daliang said with a bright smile. If you have the guts, come over, Luo Yaofeng said coldly. Her voice is very imposing, but she used a lot of strength to say those words. Behind Jiang Daliang there are a few young sacred gods. They are the young genius sacred gods from the divine Yang race, 9 Sun heavenly race, heavenly devil god race and 9 nether race. He is now behind Jiang Daliang. This also gave Jiang Daliang a lot of confidence. Let's go over together and surround her, Jiang Daliang shouted and took out a long sword. Just as he took out the long sword, the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation suddenly shook. Everyone immediately looked over and saw that the Seven Hearts have already cracked and the Nine Heads have already exploded. Boom! Inside the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation, Qin Yun's divine power surged out, bringing with it a vast and mighty aura of heavenly might, shattering the Seven Hearts. The Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation has been completely destroyed, and it was destroyed by a sacred god realm person. One had to know that if this Seven Cores Nine Heads formation was used on a Tao God Realm cultivator, it would be enough to kill a Tao God Realm cultivator, let alone a mere Saint God Realm cultivator who had only cultivated one saintly Tao image. Princess, I've made you wait for a long time. Qin Yun's low and hoarse voice seemed to tear through the heavens, shaking people's souls and enveloping Jiang Daliang's body. To be able to survive the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation is already very powerful, but now, Qin Yun was actually able to break it. As long as one is not a fool, they would know how strong he is. At this moment, Jiang Daliang finally knew how strong this mysterious divine king guard is. The little demon king's heart was also greatly shocked. He had previously felt Qin Yun's unfathomable strength, and now that he saw Qin Yun break the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation, he knew even more how terrifying Qin Yun is. Jiang Daliang is finished, Ling Yiqian said with certainty. At this moment, his face is also filled with fear. Run! Jiang Jiuquan's roar shook the sky. In his eyes, this divine king guard is even more terrifying than the little demon king's mysterious puppet. Jiang Daliang finally knows that he has to run, but he can't run. The few young sacred gods beside him also can't run. Qin Yun's supergravity violently and ferociously attacked down, bringing along a black mist. When it attacked the grassland, the earth let out a loud bang sound. The earth is like a huge drum, and Qin Yun's supergravity attack came down, striking this huge drum. The instant Jiang Daliang and the others were about to run, they were hit by this kind of attack. Naturally, they were caught unprepared. When they used all their strength to shake off the supergravity, Qin Yun has already arrived. In a flash, Qin Yun arrived in front of Jiang Daliang. He is a head taller than Jiang Daliang. The heavenly might from his body made Jiang Daliang feel despair. At this moment, Jiang Daliang still doesn't know how terrifying the person he is facing is. Qin Yun extended his hand and grabbed Jiang Daliang's neck. Then, with a vigorous pull, he directly twisted Jiang Daliang's head off. This scene caused all the powerful elders of the Nine Heavens divine race to feel extremely horrified. Jiang Daliang can also be considered a very strong sacred god. His grandfather is God King Jiang Xian, and his father Jiang Jiuquan is just outside, but his head was cut off by someone. Jiang Jiuquan is so scared that he took a few steps back, because this made him remember the time when Nine Yang Palace King twisted off the head of a Nine Heavens demon king. He began to suspect that the masked god Kingguard is very likely to be a palace king from Nine Yang Divine Palace. Jiang Daliang's head was cut off, but he did not die. Qin Yun raised it up high. Qin Yun also deliberately let Jiang Daliang see his headless body. Rumble! Qin Yun's other hand pushed out and hit Jiang Daliang's body. With a huge explosion, Jiang Daliang's body was blasted into pieces. Jiang Daliang saw with his own eyes that his body was destroyed. That was his body and cultivation that he cultivated for many years, that was the foundation of his formidable power. But now it has been destroyed. I won't kill you because I want you to live in pain. Qin Yun raised his hand and controlled the gravity to form a large black hand. He grabbed the heads of those young sacred gods and forcibly pulled them off. Then, Qin Yun kicked Jiang Daliang's head and sent it flying. It landed beside Jiang Jiuquan in the grassland outside. Jiang Daliang's head rolled on the ground. His face is ugly and filled with fear. The heads of the other young sacred gods also flew out one after another and smashed into Jiang Daliang's head. They did not die, but they only have a head left. Moreover, they saw their bodies being destroyed. To them, this is the most painful thing. Ling Yiqian looked at the heads not far away and he can't help but shiver. Chapter 2359. Jiang Jiuquan's words caused an uproar. The seniors present immediately distanced themselves from the grassland in fear. Although there was a very strong barrier, they felt that the barrier would definitely be broken. The Heaven Demon Divine King's puppet avatar was equivalent to the Heaven Demon Divine King descending in person. It was just that the Heaven Demon Divine King's true body had not descended, but his consciousness was the Heaven Demon Divine King's consciousness. In addition, the Heaven Demon Divine King's puppet avatar was definitely refined by the Heaven Demon Divine King himself. There wasn't a single item refined by a God King that was weak. Previously, the Seven Hearts Nine Heads formation was only broken when it encountered Qin Yun. If other Tao God Realm experts were trapped, they would undoubtedly die. As for the Heaven Demon Divine King's puppet avatar, it was much stronger than the Seven Cores Nine Heads array. Father, sorry for disturbing you. Wake up! Little Demon King suddenly shouted. The blue-armored puppet suddenly flashed with blue light. After the helmet cracked open, the face of a middle-aged man appeared. It was a handsome but ruthless middle-aged man. He had shoulder-length silver hair. After he opened his eyes, two beams of silver light shot out. Then, he looked around and raised his hands, releasing powerful divine power. The bodies of the injured sacred gods on the ground suddenly began to move. Whoosh! The bodies of the young sacred gods suddenly split open as large amounts of blood surged out. Like a wave, it surged towards the God King's puppet avatar. These sacred gods were from the Nine Heavens divine race. Their blood was very strong. At that moment, they gathered together and flickered with a weak blue light. It was obvious that they were transforming towards heavenly blood. The blood was absorbed by the God King's puppet avatar. The moment the Heaven Demon Divine King's consciousness awakened, it devoured large amounts of blood. Furthermore, it directly devoured the injured sacred gods. As for the few sacred gods that were not injured, they were not eaten but they were given a terrible fright. Greetings, God King. A silver-haired middle-aged man outside the grassland's barrier knelt on the ground and bowed respectfully to the puppet avatar. Yushan's sealed head. No wonder the Shadow God King suddenly became so weak. This damned slut actually handed the Yushan sealed head to this wretched girl. The Heaven Demon Divine King looked at the Yushan sealed head in Luo Yaofeng's hand and suddenly laughed maniacally. The Shadow God King was actually female. This caused many people to be very shocked. Even Jiang Jiuquan was very surprised. It could be seen that even he, the son of a God King, had only just found out that the Shadow God King was a woman. And the relationship between Luo Yaofeng and the Shadow God King also made many curious. Luo Yaofeng sneered. Sky Demon God King, do you really think that you can obtain Yushan's head? Even if I die, I won't let Yushan's seal fall into your hands. Although the Sky Demon Divine King's puppet avatar had appeared for some time, his consciousness had just been awakened. He did not know what had happened before. Little girl, you don't even have 10% of the divine power in your body. With your current strength, what can you do? The Sky Demon God King laughed. It was obvious that he was in a good mood because he believed that he would soon obtain the Yushan seal. Only now did Jiang Daliang realize how stupid he had been. Although he hated Qin Yun and felt very regretful, he admired his father, Jiang Jiuquan, more than anything else. From the beginning, Jiang Jiuquan had exhorted Jiang Daliang many times not to snatch Yushan's head. However, he refused to listen. Otherwise, he would not have ended up in this state. When Jiang Daliang saw the Sky Demon God King's puppet avatar appear, he knew that even without Qin Yun, the little demon king would definitely awaken the Sky Demon God King's puppet avatar. And he, Jiang Daliang, would still be doomed. How can the contest for the godly monarch heavenly seal be that simple? Jiang Jiuquan said indifferently, now do you know why I never dared to have any designs on Yushan's head? If I were to attack, I wouldn't even know how I died. The contest for the godly monarch heavenly seal meant that there would be waves of carnage. Without sufficient strength, those who participated in the contest would either die or be injured. Little Jiang, you are still as timid as ever. The Sky Demon God King looked at Jiang Jiuquan and laughed. Are you going to hand over the Yushan seal to me just like that? At this moment, the Sky Demon God King did not think much of Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. The little demon king knew that Qin Yun was very strong, but he believed that his father's puppet avatar was even stronger. Jiang Jiuquan did not think so. He knew that with Qin Yun's strength, he could defeat the Sky Demon God King. If it's not yours, you will never obtain it, Jiang Jiuquan said. Qin Yun held Luo Yaofeng's hand and injected the celestial universe divine sun power into her, allowing her to recover a little. Father, that guy is quite strong. He even obtained the divine yang heavenly soil, the little demon king said softly. Dai Jingji, who was beside him, was trembling. She was very afraid of the Sky Demon God King, but she still mustered up her courage and said, Your Majesty, the divine yang heavenly soil that transformed into a golden lotus is very special. Transforming into a heavenly soil is not simple. It might even be a 5 elements heavenly soil. The Sky Demon God King laughed again. Not bad, not bad. My harvest this time will definitely be huge. As a Sky Demon God King from the 9 heavens, he had a kind of arrogance. He did not think much of anyone. In his eyes, Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng were as insignificant as ant. Girl, what is your relationship with the Shadow God King? I never knew she had a daughter. Besides, who did that woman have a daughter with? Who can stand her? The Sky Demon God King laughed loudly and said, Of course, only this Sky Demon God King can subdue that unyielding woman. Luo Yaofeng shouted coldly, Even if I have to destroy Yushan's sealed head, I will not let you obtain it. A monster like you hasn't even seen her face before, let alone looked at you in the eye. You will never be worthy of her. I'll let you curse to your heart's content now. Later, when I catch you, I'll make you scream to death. The Sky Demon God King laughed sinisterly. Father, don't kill her. I want to play too. The little demon king laughed sinisterly. The women I have played with are all corpses. The Sky Demon God King laughed maniacally. The conversation between the father and son made Luo Yaofeng tremble. However, after she felt Qin Yun's warm and steady hand, she calmed down. Tightly holding Qin Yun's hand, she felt a very strong support, like a huge mountain blocking in front of her. Jiang Jiuchuan saw that Qin Yun did not say a word and knew that Qin Yun has a high chance of winning. He also wants to see who is stronger, the future God King of Divine Desolate or the Heaven Demon God King Avatar from the 9 heavens. Jiang Jiuchuan doesn't dare to think too much about the God King Heavenly Seal of Divine Desolate. Jiang Jiuchuan's vision is very far. He feels that as long as he can develop steadily in Divine Desolate and become stronger along with Divine Desolate, he can also use the 9 myriad realms Divine Suns in Divine Desolate to become stronger. To Jiang Jiuchuan this is enough. No matter what, Divine Desolate is a brand new God world that is better than the 9 heavens. In the 9 heavens, Jiang Jiuchuan is not a God King. It doesn't matter if he is not a God King in Divine Desolate as long as he has a good relationship with a God King. Father, that guy can break the 7 hearts 9 heads formation. The little demon king saw that the Sky Demon God King was about to attack and warned again. Ling Yiqian's eyes are wide open. He wants to see the strength of this mysterious Qin Yun. He believes that Qin Yun's unfathomable strength is about to be fully unleashed. God King Guard? I feel uncomfortable when I see these clothes. Not only will I tear off his clothes, I will also peel off his skin. Only then will I feel comfortable. The Sky Demon God King smiled as he walked towards Qin Yun. He walked towards Qin Yun step by step as if he was taking a stroll. He doesn't have any divine power and he is not flying over, but he has a very strong God King pressure. A beautiful blue hammer suddenly appeared in Qin Yun's hand. It is the 9 Sun Divine Hammer. It turned blue after fusing with the hammer Heavenly Technique Divine Rune. Seeing the Sky Demon God King come over, Qin Yun also secretly activated the Firmament Fire spell. He can make the Firmament Fire spell erupt at its strongest state at any time. In addition, Qin Yun fused his Divine Hammer Dao image with the 9 Sun Divine Hammer. Furthermore, the Divine Hammer Dao image is connected to the Sacred Tribulation Gate and is constantly obtaining mysterious Dao power. Qin Yun is cultivating the Divine Hammer Dao image to evolve it into the Sacred Heavenly Dao image. Previously, when he ate the Sacred Dao Divine Pill, he had already reached his limit. He needed an opportunity to evolve it into the Sacred Heavenly Dao image. And now, Qin Yun feels that the opportunity is almost here. To be able to break the 7 cores 9 head formation, you do have some strength. Yes, you were originally an ant in my eyes, but now, I will raise your status to that of a mouse. The Sky Demon God King's voice is domineering. His eyes have a disdainful aura as he walked towards Qin Yun. When the Sky Demon God King is a few dozen feet away from Qin Yun, he suddenly extended his palm and instantly appeared in front of Luo Yaofeng. He first grabbed the Yushan sealed head. Boom! Qin Yun reacted very quickly. He also expected that the Sky Demon God King would snatch the Yushan sealed head. He raised the 9 Sun Divine Hammer and smashed it down. The Sky Demon God King's arm is refined from blue crystal and is very sturdy. But when it was smashed, it burst into blue flames. Then, half of the arm exploded in the flames. The Firmament Fire spell is a heavenly technique heritage that can restrain the 9 heavens' divine demons. Furthermore, Qin Yun himself has the technique to restrain the 9 heavens' divine demons. The moment he attacked, the Sky Demon God King lost his arm. It's the heavenly Dharma heritage. The Sky Demon God King's insufferably arrogant attitude vanished instantly. Sky Demon God King, right? You are just a lousy God King from the 9 heavens. Why are you being so arrogant? This is the divine wilderness. It's not a place for a lousy god king like you to behave atrociously. Qin Yun's voice was filled with endless contempt. He, Qin Yun, had grasped the complete godly monarch heavenly seal. He was the only god king in the divine wilderness, so he naturally looked down on lousy god kings like the sky demon god king who had an incomplete heavenly seal. You! Just as the sky demon god king said a word, his face was smashed horizontally by Qin Yun. Another boom sounded as the sky demon god king's face caved in. Father! The little demon king shouted in panic. Quick, help me. I haven't used this puppet in a long time. I can't use its full strength for now. If we join forces, we can definitely take him down. The sky demon god king roared. Chapter 2360. The heavenly demon divine king's face had been struck by the hammer. He knew that the hammer was very strong. Also, the heavenly Dharma heritage was something he was very afraid of. Now, he was only using a puppet avatar. His main body was not present. Otherwise, he would not have been so worried. Of course, with his current puppet avatar, he still had some strength. However, it would still be difficult to defeat Qin Yun. Therefore, he needed the young demon king's help. The young demon king was very afraid of Qin Yun. He had previously experienced Qin Yun's power and was nearly killed by him. If not for the heavenly demon protective talisman, he might have been long dead. Don't be afraid. I'll hold him back. Use your strongest power to kill him. The heavenly demon divine king said very confidently, Don't be afraid of that girl. She is very weak now. She can't use the Yushan sealed head's power again. Luo Yaofeng was indeed unable to use the Yushan sealed head. Furthermore, she would be a burden to Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun still held her hand tightly, not letting her leave. Luo Yaofeng really wanted to distance herself from Qin Yun and let him fight freely. She did not want to burden him. Attack! The heavenly demon divine king, who had been sent flying by the hammer, charged at Qin Yun again. This time, his divine power was much stronger than before. This was only a puppet avatar. The heavenly demon divine king's consciousness had just awakened not long ago. He needed some time to gradually familiarize himself with this puppet avatar. Now, he was gradually familiarizing himself with it. Not only was his divine power powerful, but he also had the special regenerative powers of a nine heavens divine demon. When the heavenly demon divine king tried to snatch Luo Yaofeng's Yushan sealed head, his arm had been shattered by Qin Yun's hammer. But now, his broken arm had recovered. Qin Yun had previously studied how to deal with the regenerative powers of a nine heavens divine demon. He used the devouring power to devour their Tao meridians, preventing them from obtaining the special regenerative powers through their Tao meridians. What surprised Qin Yun was that the heavenly demon divine king's puppet avatar also had Tao meridians. Otherwise, it was impossible for it to recover so quickly. Seeing the heavenly demon divine king charge at him, Qin Yun showed no fear. He continued standing there firmly, holding Luo Yaofeng's hand tightly. Luo Yaofeng was originally a little worried, but when she felt Qin Yun's steadiness as he held her hand, she felt extremely relieved. She believed that Qin Yun would definitely be able to fend off the Sky Demon Godly Monarch. The Sky Fey God King's puppet also had many tricks up its sleeve. As he charged forward, many blue crystal tentacles suddenly appeared on his back. The tentacles stretched out and immediately bound Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng tightly together, leaving only their heads exposed. "Father, you are too awesome!" The little demon king laughed excitedly when he saw this move. "You guys go and kill that guy!" The Sky Demon Divine King regained his previous arrogance and smiled smugly. "This guy has some ability, but he's still too weak before me." Luo Yaofeng suddenly felt very worried. At this moment, her body was tightly pressed against Qin Yun's. She never expected that Qin Yun was actually using his body to transfer the heavenly universe divine sun's power to her to help her recover. At such a time, Qin Yun was still helping her recover. This made her feel very touched. She could not help but feel warm in her heart. She felt as though a young deer was running amok. However, she was mostly worried and nervous. The heavenly demon godly monarch's arms lengthened and transformed into tentacles that bound Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. Together with the thick tentacles on his back, there were a few layers of sturdy blue crystalline tentacles that bound Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. As such, the Sky Demon Divine King himself was unable to take action. The little Demon King was very excited. He led the two beautiful women behind him and charged at Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. Godly King's Guard? Brother Ah Yun? In front of my godly king father, you are trash. The little Demon King laughed as he charged over. And at this moment, the mask on Qin Yun's face was also removed by a tentacle. Seeing Qin Yun's handsome and extraordinary face, the little Demon King could not help but feel jealous. He said with a sinister smile, "He looks pretty good. It's no wonder that slut Luo Yaofeng likes him." Dai Jingji, who was behind him, said with a smile, "Destroy his face and poison him. Let the flesh and skin on his face turn black and rotten. Let Luo Yaofeng see how miserable her brother Ah Yun will be." The little Demon King had already rushed in front of Qin Yun. He took out a bottle of poison and pointed the bottle's mouth at Qin Yun. Then, he slapped the bottom of the bottle with his palm and the poison shot towards Qin Yun's head like an arrow. "It's the Nine Heavens demon poison. Don't!" Luo Yaofeng shouted in horror. He only felt despair. The seniors outside the grassland also felt a chill in their hearts. The Nine Heavens demon poison was very strong. A single drop was enough to make a person wish they were dead, much less a bottle. When Jiang Jiuchuan saw Qin Yun's face, he felt extremely relieved. He was finally certain that the godly King's Guard was the Nine-Yang Palace King. When the little Demon King shot out the poison from the bottle at Qin Yun, everyone thought that Qin Yun's face would be splashed. Unexpectedly, Qin Yun suddenly opened his mouth. Furthermore, his mouth had a very strong suction force that sucked all the poison into his mouth. This scene caused everyone to involuntarily cry out in alarm. Just splashing the Nine Heavens demon poison on the skin was enough to poison a person to the bone, much less in the mouth. Even the little Demon King and the Sky Demon Divine King did not expect Qin Yun to do this. Luo Yaofeng's mind went blank from fright. She naturally knew how terrifying the Nine Heavens demon poison was. It was a very famous poison in the Nine Heavens. Even if one cultivated a powerful heavenly body, they would still be corroded by the poison. When she saw Qin Yun eat it, she thought that Qin Yun was dead for sure. At this moment, she stuck close to Qin Yun. She only hoped that she could suck all the poison over and let herself bear it for Qin Yun, because she believed that this was all caused by her. Just as Luo Yaofeng's heart was in pain, Qin Yun suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a black liquid. It shot towards the little Demon King like a beam of light. This was the Nine Heavens demon poison that he had previously caught with his mouth. The little Demon King had protective armor on his body, but the poison that Qin Yun spat out had a small black saber on it. The small black saber pierced through the little Demon King's protective blue crystal armor and brought the black poison into the little Demon King's body. After piercing through the little Demon King's body, it continued to pierce through Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao's bodies. In the blink of an eye, He Hongjiao and Dai Jingji's beautiful faces turned blood-red. Then, their skin and flesh began to fester as they fell to the ground and screamed, "Father! The little Demon King was also alarmed as he screamed, "Will I be all right? Don't be afraid. Our regenerative powers are very strong. We can stop the poison from spreading." The Sky Demon Divine King never expected that the poison that the little Demon King had released would not injure Qin Yun. The 7 hearts 9 heads array and the 9 heavens demon poison were useless against Qin Yun. And these were very strong things in the 9 heavens. One had to know that these were things that could scare a large number of Tao God elders to death. The little demon king was indeed fine. His chest, which had been pierced by Qin Yun, quickly recovered. He charged at Qin Yun once again. At this moment, several small flying daggers flew out. Qin Yun opened his eyes and used his heavenly eye to instantly condense the Nether Sun Totem rune. With a devouring power, it formed a ball of air and accompanied the little black saber as it charged at the little demon king. Hula! The Nether Sun Totem carvings and a few small black sabers pierced through the little monster king's chest, creating a watermelon-sized hole in his body. At that moment, the little demon king's skin began to turn red and fester. His regenerative power had been sealed by Qin Yun. The Nether Sun Totem rune that Qin Yun shot out was to devour the little demon king's Tao veins, preventing them from obtaining the power to regenerate. The little demon king also screamed. Together with Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao, they became 3 festering people. They rolled on the ground and screamed in pain. Those seniors that came from the 9 heavens could be considered to be experienced and knowledgeable. What sort of scene had they not seen before? That was why they were very calm. Jiang Daliang, who only had 1 head left, couldn't stay calm anymore. He didn't expect that even the little demon king would be so miserable. Jiang Daliang felt that he was in a much better state than the little demon king, even though he only had a head left. The little demon king, Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao did not die. Their eyes were wide open under their festering red skin. Their bodies had been rotted by the poison, but their eyes were still there. This allowed them to see their poisoned and festering bodies. Luo Yao Feng's emotions were constantly changing, from grief and despair to pleasant surprise, then immediately fell to rock bottom. Now, he was once again overjoyed. No one expected that Qin Yun would be able to defeat the little demon king just by standing there without moving. It could be said that the little demon king was defeated to the extreme. The heaven demon divine king was also extremely shocked because he could tell that Qin Yun could seal the regenerative power of their 9 heavens demon race. This was something that could restrain their 9 heavens demon race. Perhaps I have to thank you. Qin Yun's body suddenly trembled as a blue light flickered in his eyes. His divine hammer Tao image was about to break through its bottleneck and evolve into a sacred heavenly Tao image. Luo Yaofeng, who was tightly clinging to Qin Yun, could sense a very strong sacred heavenly divine power churning within Qin Yun's heavenly body. Feeling the scorching heat from Qin Yun's body, Luo Yaofeng felt a strange and complicated feeling in his heart. I am the heaven demon divine king. Even if I am using a puppet avatar, it is not something a rat man like you can defeat. I, the heaven demon divine king, have looked down upon the 9 heavens for hundreds of millions of years and have never been defeated. The heaven demon divine king bellowed angrily. His body also expanded as a strange demonic divine power surged out. At this moment, a gigantic primal chaos divine sun flew over from the side of the grassland, along with many people wielding long swords. The people from the primal chaos race, Divine Sword Race and Divine Star Race have arrived. When an elder from the Primal Chaos Race arrived, he saw Qin Yun's face and shouted angrily, That person is Qin Yun. That bastard is the 9 Yang Palace King. The elder from the Divine Sword Race shouted, When did this person enter? Great, he is in our Divine Sword Race's grand array. He is dead for sure. Jiang Jiuchuan held Jiang Daliang's head. Jiang Daliang is completely dumbfounded. Ling Yiqian also opened his mouth wide as he looked at Qin Yun, who is fighting with the heaven demon divine king. This divine king guard is actually the 9 Yang Palace King who broke the 10-image devil curse. Chapter 2361. Luo Yaofeng did not know much about Palace King Ninyang. She had only recently learned that Palace King Ninyang had the godly king heavenly seal and could be said to be the future godly king of the divine wilderness. Now she was equally shocked. She had heard Qin Yun say that he was the king of the gods. Back then, she did not believe it. She even said that she would be hunted if she said that in the 9 heavens. She finally understood why Qin Yun knew that she had the wind god's deity position and where she was. It was because he had the godly king heavenly seal. The sun god's deity position had transformed into the godly king heavenly seal later on. It was also because of Qin Yun that it had transformed. When Qin Yun was the king of the gods, he was the king of the gods with the sun god's deity position, and many people believed that Qin Yun had obtained the godly king heavenly seal long ago. In fact, it was only in this life that the sun god's deity position transformed into the godly king heavenly seal. This meant that the godly king heavenly seal he possessed belonged to him alone. No one else could obtain it. The godly king heavenly seal in Qin Yun's hand had him at the head. This explained everything. The primal chaos race, the divine sword race, and the divine star race. Many of them were divine gods. This meant that they could enter the grassland. They had planned on charging in, but they knew that the heaven demon divine king's puppet avatar was here, so they did not enter. Their race emperor had previously cooperated with the heaven demon divine king, and the heaven demon divine king was in existence even stronger than the 9 heavens demon emperor. Therefore, they believed that the heaven demon divine king would definitely take down Qin Yun. The heaven demon divine king could sense that Qin Yun was releasing powerful divine power to struggle free of his tentacles. So you obtained the divine wilderness godly king heavenly seal. The heaven demon divine king suddenly laughed sinisterly. Regardless, that godly king heavenly seal does not belong to you. With your cultivation level, you are not worthy of the godly king heavenly seal. What a joke! A person from the 9 heavens dares to say such words in front of the divine wilderness godly king. Luo Yaofeng sneered. Heaven demon divine king, you are at death's door. Don't you know? The sky demon deity king laughed and said, Darn lass, are you thinking of obtaining his godly monarch heavenly seal by mixing with such a fellow? Sky demon deity king, don't judge others by your own standards. Luo Yaofeng was very angry. Princess, ignore him, he can't do anything to me now. Qin Yun said indifferently. Even if the sky demon deity king did not say so, many people present thought so. Luo Yaofeng had the Yushan seal head, so she definitely knew how important the godly monarch heavenly seal was. And for a woman like her to be so close to Qin Yun, it made one suspicious. The little demon king, Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao, who were poisoned by the 9 heavens demon poison, fell to the ground and struggled. They knew who the divine king's guard was and were filled with regret. Especially Dai Jingji. She had seen Qin Yun a long time ago, but she could not tell that Qin Yun was that strong. Otherwise, she would have seduced Qin Yun. Of course, with her looks, Qin Yun did not fancy her at all. The divine power within Qin Yun's body surged violently. His divine hammer Dao image is in the process of breaking through and evolving. Once it breaks through, his sacred heaven divine power will become even more powerful. What can I do to you? The sky demon deity king laughed heartily. You might be able to kill the 9 heavens demon emperor, but that guy has been sealed for many years. He's just a weakling. He is inferior to this puppet avatar of mine. Next, I will show you the might of a sky demon deity king. The sky demon deity king's puppet body has already expanded to a height of more than 3 meters. He looked like a small giant. The tentacles he released are also thicker. They bound Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. Not even their heads can be seen. I will devour them bit by bit. The sky demon deity king's maniacal laughter reverberated like thunder. Father, quickly save me. The little demon deity king heaved a sigh of relief. Wait a moment, let me take down this guy. The sky demon deity king is very confident. He strengthened his tentacles and tightened them around Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng. Suddenly, many long spikes emerged from his tentacles. It is easy to imagine that Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng, who are tightly bound, will be riddled with holes. However, at that moment, a huge golden tribulation gate appeared. This is the sacred tribulation gate. Not many people present had seen Qin Yun breach the sacred tribulation gate, but now they could tell that it was a tribulation gate, and a very powerful one at that. Jiang Jiuquan knew that after Qin Yun breached the sacred tribulation gate, the Tao idol entered the tribulation gate, and the tribulation gate entered Qin Yun's body through the Tao idol. Now, Qin Yun's sacred tribulation gate has appeared. This tribulation gate is the divine hammer Tao idols. Boom! The tribulation gate opened and a huge blue hammer flew out. The hammer head was like a small mountain as it smashed down ruthlessly at the sky demon deity king. The hammer landed on the sky demon deity king's body. Instantly, lightning flashed and thunder roared. Shockwaves roared in all directions as powerful sacred divine power surged out. After the sky demon deity king's head was smashed, it immediately exploded. However, the sky demon deity king's tentacles were still very powerful. The destruction of his head did not affect him at all. Qin Yun controlled the divine hammer Tao idol to sweep across the sky demon deity king's body and infused it with sacred divine power. The sky demon deity king's inflated blue crystalline body constantly emitted explosive sounds as the sacred divine power battered it. Finally, the tentacles became a lot weaker. Qin Yun's body jolted as an intense blue flame surged out. He used the Celestial Universe Fire incantation and combined it with the power of the Quake Heavenly Dharma Divine Rune to shred all the tentacles. Qin Yun held the Nine Sun Divine Hammer in hand. After he raised it high, the Divine Hammer Tao idol suddenly flew over and entered the Nine Sun Divine Hammer. The instant the Divine Hammer Tao idol that had evolved into the sacred Heavenly Tao idol entered the Nine Sun Divine Hammer, the 3 myriad realms divine suns in the sky suddenly shot down 3 powerful beams of light that struck the Nine Sun Divine Hammer. The godly monarch heavenly seal in your hand is incomplete. How dare you call yourself a godly monarch? How dare you call yourself a godly monarch without a complete heavenly seal? Qin Yun's voice surged into the sky. Especially after the myriad realms divine suns injected divine power into the blue divine hammer, the golden light of the myriad realms divine suns surged out. It was very blinding. Qin Yun had finally evolved the divine hammer Tao idol. This also meant that he had cultivated the second sacred heavenly Tao idol. A complete godly monarch heavenly seal? It looks like you don't know anything. No one can possess a complete godly monarch heavenly seal. The heaven demon divine monarch's shattered head suddenly grew out as he sneered. You are indeed very strong, but you are still in the growth stage. You are even less worthy of being called a godly monarch. Just as the heaven demon divine monarch finished speaking, Qin Yun instantly charged over and smashed down twice. The 9 stances of heavenly annihilations, heavenly quake, and lightning blight came out one after another. The vibrating heavenly might and the violent lightning that came crashing down became even more violent after being enhanced by the 9 sun divine hammer. With just 2 strikes of the hammer, the heaven demon divine monarch's body distorted and cracked before finally exploding into several pieces. The heaven demon divine monarch's puppet avatar was very powerful, but in front of the 9 sun divine hammer, it was as fragile as a clay figurine. The powerful clansmen outside the grassland that wanted to attack Qin Yun felt their hearts palpitate. They were not fools. Although they hated Qin Yun, they could tell that Qin Yun was very strong. He was not that easy to deal with. Why can't I regenerate? The heaven demon divine monarch's gigantic head that tumbled to the ground let out a horrified cry. He was previously so confident because he believed that his puppet avatar could regenerate and that he could exhaust Qin Yun to death. But now, he felt that his regenerative powers had been sealed. He was unable to repair his body at all. You fellows from the 9 Heavens demon race only rely on your regenerative powers to strut around. Qin Yun raised the divine hammer and slowly walked towards one of the heaven demon divine monarch's thighs. Boom! He pulverized the heaven demon divine monarch's thighs. The heaven demon divine monarch's head watched helplessly as a part of his body was pulverized. He roared angrily. Qin Yun continued hammering and pulverized all the heaven demon divine monarch's body parts, leaving only his head behind. I'm not worthy of being a godly monarch? Qin Yun came in front of the heaven demon divine monarch and released his godly monarch heavenly seal. The moment the tiny heavenly seal appeared in his palm, heavenly might surged in all directions. The heaven demon divine monarch was completely alarmed. This was because he saw that the heavenly seal's head was a statue of a person, and that statue was Qin Yun. This meant that the godly monarch heavenly seal had a close connection with Qin Yun. It could be said that it was born for Qin Yun or because of him. Your true body is still in the 9 heavens, right? If you have the guts, come to the myriad heavens divine wilderness so that I can completely destroy you. It doesn't matter if you don't dare to come. I will definitely go to the 9 heavens in the future to destroy you. Qin Yun controlled the godly monarch heavenly seal to enlarge and smashed it down at the heaven demon divine monarch. It directly pulverized the head and wiped out the consciousness within. Luo Yaofeng retreated a few steps in fright from the godly monarch heavenly seal. She now understood why Qin Yun had no interest in her Yushan sealhead. It was because he did not fancy it at all. Godly monarch heavenly seal. A complete godly monarch heavenly seal. This was something that many godly monarchs in the divine world dreamed of. However, there were very, very few people who could possess a complete godly monarch heavenly seal. After Qin Yun put away the godly monarch heavenly seal, he walked towards the young demon monarch and stomped down with great force. Intense flames surged out from his heaven-trampling divine boots, completely crushing the poisoned young demon monarch. And the waves of fire that surged out also inundated Dai Jingji and He Hongjiao, instantly burning them to ashes. Within the grassland, only Qin Yun and Luo Yaofeng were left. They were both at the Saint God realm and could enter the grassland. With their strength, it could be said that they were invincible within the Saint God realm. You killed my 9 heavens demon race's God King avatar. If you have the guts, come out. Don't hide inside. The silver-haired middle-aged man outside roared angrily at Qin Yun. Dao God realm people could not enter, so they could not do anything to Qin Yun. As for the other seniors, they also wanted to capture Qin Yun and snatch the godly monarch heavenly seal. The divine king heavenly seal of the myriad heavens divine wilderness, and it was complete. Its value was far higher than the Yushan sealhead. Hide? Why should I hide? As Qin Yun spoke, his figure flashed out and landed in front of the silver-haired middle-aged man. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.